For Scott Pendlebury, he passes Michael Tuck, game 427 tonight. And it's just Boomer Harvey now who stands in front of him with 432 games as the game's record holder. Lauren Bordin to call the action alongside me tonight. Loz, welcome to season 2026.
Oh, hello, Clinchy. It's lovely to be here again. I think I've forgotten that at the start of the season we start with a bit of sunlight, that it's still daylight savings, which is nice to be here. But yeah, you did mention those close finishes between these two sides. It's been a long time, more than a decade, since Adelaide has won here at the MCG. There was the Jordan Dawson non-free kick a couple of years ago that was one of the close finishes. Isaac Rankin running down the wing when he got pinned for holding the ball and did his hammy in the process as well. So a lot of close finishes here at the G, but I think Adelaide fans, they keep their tickets a little bit. They remember everything that's happened at this ground, so they'll be desperate to get their first win here in about 12 years or so, and of course that would set them up for the season, give them a little boost as they do I guess try and go further than last year and get to the finals and not exit in straight sets. Yeah, there's a lot to play for tonight, and for the Crows it would be nice to push all those storylines and the disappointment of last year to one side and get a win over the Magpies. The St Kilda champion, part of the Australian Football Hall of Fame, Nathan Burke is with you once more for another season. Welcome to Saturday Night Footy, Berkey.
Hello, Matthew, Loz, and it's wonderful to be here. It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne and a perfect night for football, so no excuses. We shouldn't see any 2-goal sevens tonight or anything like that, so looking forward to a ripping game.
And alongside Berkey, the man who played 300 games for the Blues, a two-time best and fairest winner, the Carlton captain, but tonight he is Lloyd Williams. He is a race winner after this happened today.
Light infantry man approaching the 200, grabbed by Birdman. Birdman, hands and heels, went to the front of Poulier and Banker's Choice run on, but Birdman is clear and Birdman wins it. Birdman, a soft victory in the end. A Poulier, Banker's Choice, and then came Light Infantry Man, a Gap Buckaroo Whiskey on the hill and Vaselina.
I should have given you the lead in that we're going to play the race, but Birdman, in which Mark Murphy is a part of, won the Group 2 Peter Young Stakes at Caulfield today. A Group 2 race, but exciting on the verge of potentially running in a Group 1 race in the Australia Stakes. Yeah. Welcome, Murph. What a great day.
Great day. Very, very soft watch. Easy watch it was on the turn with Benny Mellon just hands and heels.
Are you upset when they described it as a soft win?
Well, it was as soft as it gets, Berkey. We'll go back to the replay if we can at some point. But I was sitting there with Johnny Barker, my old former coach, and a few current players and a few former guys involved in this one. So it's a pretty handy horse. So we'll go to the Australia Cup in a couple of weeks. But been a great day here in Melbourne and great night for footy. And really looking forward to seeing two premier teams go about it. You know, it's probably more heat on Adelaide to come here and win. Really, I think everyone's wondering what they're going to show this year. They had a great home and away season last year, but as we all know, got bundled out in straight sets. And the Pies, he'll continue to keep on riding them off. They had a good win last week. Can they keep that momentum going?
So you've led us in beautifully, Murph. Callum Archie, two-time premiership player with the Brisbane Lions, transitions to the Adelaide Crows. Lockie McAndrew comes in for his first game. He's a rugby union fanatic who played with the Sydney Swans back in 2023, picked up by Adelaide as an SSP player in 2026 after playing for the Crows in the SANFL. And Toby Murray, the brother of Nick Murray, makes his debut as well, the second-year Crow, who played for Collingwood in the VFL back in 2022, a mid-season pickup for the Crows in 2024. And he joins his brother in trying to stretch the Collingwood defence tonight. So the Crows have changes from last season. There is, of course, still no Isaac Rankin, who serves the last game of his suspension tonight, so he'll return for next week's game against the Western Bulldogs. And as we said at the top, there's still no Darcy Moore and Jeremy Howe for the Magpies. So good test for the Crows where they can do it away from home at a ground where they haven't won for a decade against Collingwood.
Yeah, they need to get the hoodoo off the back here, and it's going to be interesting to see how they go through the midfield, because they've got some really solid midfielders, the Crows. They don't have a real spark in there, I don't think, especially without Rankin being able to come in and give a bit of a chop out to these other midfielders. Saligo probably needs to take another step up in his game this year. I thought it was terrific last year, but who's going to go to Nick Dacos? Are they going to go tag him? They might put Saligo on him. I would take maybe a high half forward to start in off the square and come and play up on him so it doesn't disrupt your setup around stoppages and through the midfield. But yeah, they're going to have to keep a close eye on Nick Dacos. He's the one who really can cut you up and open up the game for the Pies, and we know how much of a superstar he is. But yeah, the Adelaide midfield is quite even, outside of probably Dawson being their superstar skipper, as we all know. But it's going to be an interesting battle in there.
Berkey. Matthew Nix joined Aaron Bryans on SA Grandstand earlier today and spoke about doing the work in the off-season, that you deal with all the frustration, and you've hoped you put in the work, having failed the test last season, but you never quite know until you get to that first game. Collingwood played last week against St Kilda, so the Crows will get a first look at tonight as to what they might be able to build to in 2026.
No matter what sort of work you do over pre-season and what form you think you are coming into this game in training form, you never really know until that ball bounces and then the players run out there. I'm sure Essendon didn't expect to dish up what they dished up the other night, and we've seen a couple of sides be a little bit surprised. So, yeah, he'll be sitting there hoping. He'll know in his back of his mind, have I done everything that I wanted to do with this team? You can't do everything, so you've got a percentage thing. So how much percentage on defending, how much percentage on attacking? Did we get that balance right? And he's just got to sit back tonight and watch and a little bit of hope.
Even physically, Berkey, you come in as a Collingwood player probably more confident knowing you've had the run in the legs last week, you've already played a game. Always that first game when you start off the season, you get to during the third quarter and you start to feel the pinch a bit. And it doesn't matter how much work you have done over that pre-season, there's nothing like a genuine AFL game to get you cherry ripe. And your second or third week, you start to hit your straps as a footballer. So I think there's certainly a benefit from the Collingwood side having played last week.
It is. Look, to be totally honest, I think Collingwood were lucky last week. If they give up 20 extra inside 50s to Adelaide, they won't win this game.
That's right.
They lost the inside 50s last week by 20 to the Saints. Unfortunately, the Saints didn't have a Walker, Thilthorpe, Fogarty, Archie down there. They would have loved at least one of them down there. So, to me, they got their 4 points, but during the week there would have been a lot of sort of soul searching on how that actually happened, and let's see what happens tonight through the midfield, because they need to be a lot tighter than what they were last week.
It's 140 worth of goals for the Adelaide Crows when you think of Riley Thilthorpe had a breakout season last year with 60 goals, Darcy Fogarty with 41 and Tex Walker with 39. You compare that with the Magpies, who had Jamie Elliott, who had a breakout season last year with 60 goals, but Brody Myercheck has left the club. He's now with the Demons, and Bobby Hill, unfortunately, is away from the club at the moment. So it does put a lot of pressure on that next wave of players for Collingwood underneath Jamie Elliott, whether it's Dan McStay, whether it's the likes of Lockie Schultz, or those players who are trying to contribute like Tim Membry.
Yeah, that's right. And it's probably outside of Jamie Elliott, who we know who's a star, who could kick a handful tonight. It's going to have to come down to probably system for the Pies and relying upon guys chipping in, kicking their one or two, some goals coming from the midfield, because outside of probably Jamie Elliott, he's probably the only one who can really put the game to bed by actually kicking multiple goals. So they rely upon system anyway, though, the Pies. So I'm not too worried in that department, but it's, as Berkey did say, if they allow the Crows to get a lot of inside 50s, they're not going to get away with a lot they did last week.
Mark Murphy alongside Nathan Burt, Matt Clinch and Lauren Bordin to call the action. Ian Cohen's down on the boundary for us tonight. So 7 of the last 9 games have been decided by 10 points or less. 6 between these two sides have been decided by under a goal. So tradition suggests it'll be a thriller. Let's hope we get that tonight. Nick Dacos, what sort of attention does he get from Matthew Nix and the Crows, do you imagine, Murph?
Oh, he has to get it. He has to get a tag. You just can't allow him to run around and break the lines and use the ball like he does. And you're almost untaggable. He's untaggable almost as it is, but rather than him getting 35, try and limit him to low 20s. That's probably a win for Adelaide. Whether or not they want to try and tag him everywhere or have someone come to him at various parts of the game, I think you just can't allow him to get off the chain too much.
The other option that I would explore is actually putting Jordan Dawson on him. So his evolution into becoming a great player was a bit of a run with Tagger. If he can, at the right times, go his way when the Crows actually win the footy, Nick's probably not going to go with him. And so be able to hurt him at the other end. So go 50-50 at the stoppages, me against you, man on man. And then once it goes, well then let's see what happens from there. So I think Jordan Dawson can potentially get off the hook, because equally, what does Craig McRae do about him? Because he's such an important player for the team.
Jordan Dawson just made his way back and addressed the Adelaide players. It was Braden Maynard who did the coin toss for the Collingwood side tonight. On the boundary for us is Ian Cohen. Welcome, Koza.
Thanks very much, Clinchy, and good evening, everyone. It's a beautiful autumnal evening. Conditions are marvellous. There's a slight zephyr coming from the city end, but really nothing to worry about. As you said, Braden Maynard went into the toss. He did win. It's the Pies who will kick to the left of your ABC Sport radio. They will go to the punt road end. And our umpires tonight, Power, Stevens, Meyer and Williamson. And Toby Murray lining up on the bench. It means the Murray boys join the Crouchers and the Jarmans as the third set of brothers to play for the Adelaide Crows.
Nice piece of history. Thank you, Koza. So the lights are on here at the MCG and all is in readiness as Adelaide look to start their 2026 campaign. Keen to put last season behind them. Taking on the Magpies. Here's Lauren Bordin.
The experience of Darcy Cameron against Lockie McAndrew in the ruck. In the end, Cameron tries to sock it right off the ground, but it is a free kick in the middle and McAndrew has it. It's a horrible hand pass as he makes his way out wide across to Dawson. Hand passes it off towards Berry, but it's stolen by McCreary. Inside 50, the Pies will go a high ball from McCreary who puts it out the back of the pack. And Nick Murray's there to collect for the Crows. Spins around the 360, hand passes it off to Butts. He hand passes it to Worrell. Goes back to Nick Murray, who hand passes it to Malira, and he just goes with the short kick to Berry. And Berry will mark it, left half back for the Crows.
Berry looks to try and bring it around the Shane Warne stand side. The target is still thought worked his way from the back against Frampton. Off hands, can't take the mark. Josh Dacos gathers for the Pies, works it back to Quainer. From right half back, he sends Collingwood back up the wing. Worrell sets himself in front of Membry, supports Nick Murray. No mark claim, still a chance for Worrell. Gets it back to Millera. Feeds the hand pass away to Berry, close against the boundary line. A lace-out pass, and it finds Keys centre wing on the outer side.
Berry started in the middle of the ground, and potentially he may be the guy who's looking after Nick Dacos, and he's already started with 2 possessions.
Keys puts the kick right to half forward. The mark is taken by Jordan Dawson, the captain of the Crows. Little stuttering step before he puts it on his boot and gets the Crows inside 50, coming all alone. Holds onto the mark, and he'll have a kick at goal for the first time for Adelaide this season from a little right of centre, about 40 metres out.
Well, there's that man, Zach Dawson. Zach, how am I going?
Zach never kicked the footy off.
No, that's right. He didn't kick it that well, did he? But he just took the mark on 50, and then that's where the issue with the man on the mark is. He couldn't even move, could he? And he just wheeled off 4 or 5 metres, and that just opened up the whole ground for him, and it's a beautiful kick.
So Isaac Cumming only missed 1 game in his first season for Adelaide last year. He dabs this one through the middle for the Crows' first of season 2026. They go up against Collingwood at the MCG. 1 straight 6, the Crows. The Pies yet to score. About 2 minutes played in this opening term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
I'm only going to have 3 whinges about the rules for the whole night, Loz. Keep a tally.
I'll be counting.
First one, that's silly. The man on the mark is standing there completely out of play. Yep. Jordan Dawson, he's on the move, runs around. Do we want guys running inside 50 completely... There's no contest at all, hitting blokes on the chest? That's not footy. That's not the way we play.
We expect a lot from our umpires, don't we? But that rule's just so hard for the umpires to try and adjudicate, because nowadays the players have to understand they can take 2 or 3 steps and just get away with it, because the man on the mark isn't going to move, because otherwise it's 50 and it's a genuine goal straight away.
Yep,
so
right from the 50-metre line to the goal line. So they're going to err on the side of caution.
Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke as McAndrew rises up and wins down the tap against Darcy Cameron. Spills down the way of Berry, sends Adelaide to half forward. Tex in front, claim the mark against Quain. A quick hand pass away to Pedler. Fires on goal and misses to the right-hand side. It's well in range without too many forwards leading up 45 metres out. It's the Crows who make the fast start. 1-1-7 to Collingwood yet to score.
Yeah, Sam Berry started fast as well. He's got 3 possessions and a couple of clearances.
Houston with the footy in the left back pocket for Collingwood, just thumps it on his boot to get it out of defence, goes through the hands of Malira, falls out the back to Rochelle, who then hand passes it back to Malira. It will go inside 50. It's back the way of Houston, who taps it away from Fogarty, puts it out of bounds for a throw-in. About 25 metres around from the right behind post. Adelaide kicking towards the city end of the MCG in this opening term.
definitely Sam Berry's tagging him, isn't he? Nick Dacos, so he's got the job on Collingwood skipper for the night.
Crows ahead by 6 points. Tap down across to Neil Bullen, who tries to centre the ball to the top of the goal square. Quain is there and marks ahead of Tex Walker. Takes the mark, hand passes it across to Maynard, who chips it across to Houston. still into the defensive 50, and Houston will look to hand pass it across to Maynard, who goes for a run, kicks into the centre at the MCG, and that's where Jordan De Goey will take the mark.
De Goey looks up, has Jack Crisp between wing and half forward, takes the mark and releases Josh Dacos, sends it in the pocket, McStay on the lead, and he takes the mark hard against the boundary in the right forward pocket. Game number 200 for him tonight, and a chance to try and open Collingwood's account.
It was great ball use then by the Pies. Just the D50, the hard run from Josh Dacos, who was involved in that D50 exit, to then be used 2 or 3 handballs up the chain. It was great running.
Veers out, tries to open up the angle, fires on goal and misses everything. Out of bounds on the full to the near side for Dan McStay. The 1 goal last week against St Kilda from his 6 disposals. The Magpies yet to score. Collingwood yet to score. Adelaide 1-1-7 through 5 minutes.
Laird moves it across to Warrell, switches it to Malira, and now the Crows have it on the broadcast side of the ground, where the chip kick comes to Berry, and he marks, kicks it across to Laird, not 15, swung around in a tackle by Lockie Schultz, just gets the hand pass away. It's picked up by Berry again, he puts it on his boot, and he also puts it out of bounds on the floor, right in front of the benches here, in front of our broadcast position. It'll be a free kick going the way of Houston.
I wonder if the umpires told the clubs that we're going to be a lot stricter on that 15 metres, because so far the games that have occurred this weekend, there's been a lot of confusion.
Houston inside 50, picked up by Worrell though. Hand passes it across to Bond, who takes a bounce and then kicks it into the centre of the field. Houston's there to clean up and intercepts the footy for the Pies right in the centre square of the MCG. Adelaide 1-1-7 leading Collingwood, yet to score. 6 minutes played in the opening term.
Dan Houston plays on, gestures for someone to lead up. He sends it in the direction of McStay and Membry. McStay brought it down to the front. Miller has hand pass to Berry, taken high. And the Adelaide midfielder with the job on Nick Dacos tonight. Another early possession for him. Possession number 6 coming up. As he sends it out towards Cumming. He flies up against Ed Allen. Can't take the mark. Allen taps it towards the boundary line. It came off his boot.
Yes.
Lasso free kick. It'll be Adelaide's free kick and Josh Rochelle will take it.
Good call, stupid rule.
A little chip in ball. And the mark's
No,
taken.
that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. That was point 1A.
Right.
The chip comes into Malira, and I think that was a stand rule infringement, so it'll be 50 metres. Malira will be marched right to the top of attacking 50 for Adelaide, or not quite, that was a short 50. And as Nick Dacos stands the mark, chip kick from Malira across to Cumming. The goal kicker so far tonight, he'll put Adelaide inside 50 with his chip that goes across towards Neil Bullen. Touch, no it wasn't, it was a late whistle. Neil Bullen will be paid the mark. He went to play on thinking it had been touched.
He knew it was touched. He was playing on until the umpire said, no, you can go back and have that.
It's a little 2-second delay there. And the crowd's getting the replay as well. But Alex Neil Bullen will get a set shot. Just inside from the boundary, about 7 or 8 metres or so. 35 metres out from goal. Put Adelaide second on the board tonight. It looks good off the boot. And he's got the right result. The Crows have come here looking for their first win at the MCG against Collingwood since 2014. And they've got the first 2 goals on the board. 2-1-13. Collingwood have not yet scored in this opening term. 7.5 minutes played. It's Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, just the Pies are just battling to maintain the football at the moment. The Crows have just been everywhere, whether that's the contested ball or the uncontested. Currently 32 touches to 17, so just can't maintain the football at the moment. The Pies, Adelaide getting hard back in numbers, and then, although be it by a couple of free kicks, worked the ball up the ground pretty easily there, and was pretty lucky to be given the chance to go behind the man on the mark there and have his shot there, Neil Bullen. But good finish. Tough little pocket there at the MCG.
Meanwhile, at the SCG quarter time, Sydney 7-1-43 to Brisbane 1-3-9. Collingwood thought they should have got a free kick. It's taken out the middle by the Adelaide Crows as Saliko combines with Max Michelani. Got it to Tex Walker, leaning back, hits it out on the full. The Bronx cheer tell the story. And Collingwood will take it back in the left back pocket. Tex Walker. Just when you think you've seen it all throughout your career, season number 19 for him as he plays game 302. His first disposal inside 50 out on the full. Josh Dacos takes the free kick. Adelaide by 13 points up the wing, and Buller presents and takes the mark. Hand pass to Nick Dacos. Arches the back to get a ray from Saligo. Quick 1-2 with Long. Back to Nick Dacos. Hand pass to Cameron and now to Buller through the middle of the ground. Great kick. McStay takes the mark. Leading up at centre half forward. He looks inside 50. It's the small brigade. Schultz And Pendlebury just can't get it to him. Working back, Pedler gets a hand to it, takes the mark, kicks out to McAndrew, who marks it right half back for the Crows.
McAndrew thumps it on his boot, gets plenty of distance across to a one-on-one. Walker just palms it down towards Saligo, who's tackled by Cameron, gets some assistance from Crisp. The umpire rucks his arms up and it'll be a ball up right at centre wing.
It's going to get to work here, and the clearances, the Pies currently losing 4-0.
Little tap from Cameron in the end, falls into the hands of Peatling of the Crows. He's tackled, and it's McCreary that wins the footy for the Pies. Chips it down towards Buller, gets the hand pass back, and McCreary will put Collingwood inside 50 again. Worrell sitting at the back to collect for the Crows and clears the footy out of the danger zone. Wide into some space at left half back where Michael Annie will gather, collect and just put it on his boot, try and get some distance. Rochelli's there, can't pick it up on the half volley. It will spill towards Keys, who'll try and dribble the footy forward, gain some distance. Josh Dacos traps it on his shin. Does it go out of bounds? No, Dacos goes chasing after it to try and push it in. He keeps it in the end. He does the tackling on Keys, so it will be a throw-in on the outer side of the ground. It's Adelaide ahead by 13 points, 10 minutes played in the first quarter at the MCG.
Lauren Bordin and Matt Clinch calling the action. Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke, your experts. Ian Cohen down on the boundary. Sydney leading comfortably 7-1 at quarter time of the SCG. From the throw-in, a chance for the Pies as Long gets down low. Over the top of him comes Toby Murray, and the umpire will ball it up between wing and half forward for the Crows. Goals to Cumming and to Neil Bullen for the Crows to take the early lead here. Cameron gets rid of his opponent and takes it out of the ruck. Kicks up towards half forward. A lunging Schultz. Can't take the mark for Collingwood. To go, he just bumps Bond out of the way and wins possession. Although his hand pass is sharp by Neil Bullen. Knocked it to Millerer. Gets the hand pass away. Peatling through the middle of the ground. Gets it back to Neil Bullen. Vacant goal square. Goes for home and misses. Out to the right-hand side. And just scrapes through for a minor score. It's all the Crows. 2-2-14 to Collingwood yet to score. 11 minutes gone. Opening terms. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Beautiful night in Melbourne, about 20 degrees or so, as Josh Dacos brings the footy in and chips it across to Quainer, who goes long down the wing towards Cameron, 2 hands to it, couldn't quite pull it in. Had Toby Murray on him, and the ball will spill out though. He kicked down the wing, stayed chasing after it, can't pick it up. There's Worrell again, who can. Hand pass to Malira, who hand passes backwards towards Dawson. They're in the defensive 50, the Crows. He kicks back to Michael Annie, and they'll switch to the outer side of the ground. The kick comes across to left half back to Cook, who marks.
Crows are keeping their defenders home because every time it hits the ground inside the Collingwood forward line, there's an extra 2 Crows defenders there.
Braden Cook from Happy Valley in South Australia kicks down the wing, takes Walker marks, and he brings it inboard looking for Saligo just through his hands right in the centre of the MCG. Nick Dacos picks it up 1-2 with Lipinski, fumbles the footy. Nick Dacos can just pick it up, hand pass it away. Then Jordan Dawson comes in, takes it, hand passes it back to Cook. He just gets a bit of boot on it, enough to get to Neil Bullen. His kick comes inboards and Malira will pick it up for Adelaide and gathers cleanly across to Archie's first game in Adelaide Crows colours. Hand passes it out wide. Quaynor doing the tackling, and he'll lock the footy where it is. And it'll be a ball up at the top of the 50. It was Toby Murray brought to ground in his first game. Ball up at the top of the 50 for the Crows.
22-year-old up against Darcy Cameron here. Ball spills down to Archie, trying to get a hand pass forward. Chopped off by Cameron for Collingwood. Hand pass to Lipinski to Pendlebury. Cuts around Jordan Dawson. Always seems to have time as he sends it out to the wing, and Jack Crisp is on his own. He marks on the members' side and takes a bounce. Streams to left half forward, trying to pull his kick in the direction of Schultz. It's on the bounce for him. Clean gather around Worrell. Has no support though. Hand passes a turnover. Taken by Archie of the Crows. Links up with Peatling. He looks up towards half forward. It's a worm burner. Nice clean pick up in the end by Rochelli. He's tackled and brought down by Maynard. Holding the ball. Collingwood take the advantage through Allen. Missed side bottom. Tex puts the bump on. It spills to Keys. 50 out. Goes for home. It's a vacant goal square. And he misses to the left-hand side. Adelaide are peppering the goals at the moment. 2-3-15 to Collingwood yet to score. 13 minutes gone. Opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
I'd love $1 for every handball that hasn't hit its target so far.
It's sloppy, hasn't it? Just forward of the ball too. The Pies just losing a bit of their balance and shape. They're getting caught probably too high up, and Berkey made mention of it before, where Adelaide are just sitting back and mopping them all up. So they try and get back and re-engage the defender.
It's Houston at half-back who decides to go long straight down the corridor and get all the way to half-forward. But there is Worrell again, who picks it up, hand passes to a teammate in all sorts of pressure. Gets tackled to the ground by Buller. And it was Butts that was caught. And Jack Buller will earn the free kick for Collingwood and have a set shot at goal, but he'll have to kick from about 50 metres out.
That was better from Collingwood. They actually held their forwards a bit deeper and tried to stretch the Collingwood defenders, and that just opened up the entire ground for them, and they were able to use the ball through the middle of the ground then. Just a good, honest pressure from Buller, and that tackle was just very strong. You read the play, understood they were going back to the Adelaide defender. Just smart forward work there.
So Jack Buller, the former Swan, very deliberate approach with the first couple of his steps from 51 metres out. The kick towards goal is offline, and it's completely missed everything out of bounds on the full. So not even a score for Collingwood. They've got no score so far in this match. 15 minutes played. It's Adelaide ahead by 15 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
So McStay and Buller both with shots on goal out on the full for the Magpies. They're yet to score. Adelaide at 2-3-15 as the Crows through Laird, Michael Annie, Worrell, and now Toby Murray tries to work it to his brother Nick Murray, who takes the mark at right half back. His pass to Archie, not 15, called to play on. Hand pass forward to Berry, corralled by Perryman, smothers it out of play. And Perryman sees the ball out in front of the two benches, and Ian Cohen watching on.
I know it's always a subject of discussion. Matthew Nicks is rolling the dice. There doesn't appear to be any sort of tag on Nick Dacos at all. He's running free.
Thanks, Koza. Earlier, Geelong 10-point winners over Fremantle, and the Western Bulldogs 81-point winners over the Giants. From the throw-in, Saligo trying to keep it alive and convince the umpire it came off Steele Sidebottom's boot, so he takes the free kick, kicks Adelaide to half forward. Phil Thorpe leads up, marks in front of Billy Frampton. He has Tex Walker as the deepest forward as he veers out to the left, looking to send it in that direction, or Dawson leading out in the end. It's Pedler. Pedler can't take the mark. Spoiled away in the end by Perryman. Desperately diving after it. Houston for Collingwood. Careful not to drag it in. Umpire circles and will ball it up. 45 metres out from the Crows' goal. They're 2-3-15. Collingwood yet to score.
Adelaide's first game of the season. Collingwood already recording a win in opening round against the Saints last Sunday night in front of 82,000 people as Long tries to soccer the footy. It ricochets back to him. He hand passes it to Quaynor, hand pass to Frampton, and the kick comes across the wing for Collingwood. Was looking for Membry. Goes over the top of his head. Worrell's come up the ground and picks it up. Hand passes it to Nick Murray, who puts the kick back inside 50 for Adelaide. Frampton, two hands, can't take the mark, spills down, and Maynard's there to collect. The acting captain for Collingwood tonight in the absence of Darcy Moore puts the kick towards Membry, again front position, but it's Nick Murray that taps it away from him. In comes Archie to pick up the footy. He's dispossessed of it. And Worrell has it again. It's a skying ball inside 50. Drops in the middle of the pack. Walker's there. Gets tackled. Gets rid of it. Keys collects. Has a shot. Goal. And can put it through the middle.
Free kick.
No.
Free kick against Tex. Illegal disposal.
So as he was getting tackled, Tex, he's pinned and the ball will come back. And it'll be free kick going the way of Perryman for the Pies. Adelaide ahead by 15 points. Collingwood yet to score in this match that's 17 minutes old.
Just on the Nick Dacos one, he was getting picked up earlier by Berry, but then he's drifted to a wing. He's drifted deep forward. He's now drifting back up towards the ground. So he's just got a licence.
Is that him doing that?
Berkey to go anywhere,
Yep.
really. So he's just trying to pick him apart a little bit. If they want to come and tag him, then, yep, he'll just pull you wherever he wants to. So Adelaide are saying, well, unless you're in the middle of the ground, we're going to let you go.
Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport. A blood rule for Max Michael-Annie to come from the field, so we'll get Ian Cohen to keep an eye on that. As the free kick taken by Perryman in the back pocket for Collingwood, up towards McStay. Used his body well against Toby Murray. Takes the mark against the first gamer. Chips it short, laterally out to Sidebottom. He marks on the members' wing. Now where to? Has crisp short, ignores that option. Membry longer down the line. Tries to thread the needle into the middle of the ground. Got it over Saligo to Houston, who plays on immediately. Off the right boot, kicks looking for Steele. It's over his head. Butts cleans it up at the back of the pack for Adelaide. Hand pass back to Worrell. Links up with Laird in the defensive goal square. Almost too slow. Steele off of the chase. Don't think he tackled him, did he? There was a push in the back. And Rowan Steele did so much right, but didn't lay the tackle in the end. Free kick going the way of the Crows in the back pocket. Adelaide by 15 points.
Pies fans don't like that one, but Laird has it and kicks out towards a pack. Right half back for the Crows. It's the Pies that'll collect via Crisp. Hand pass to Maynard. Kick comes off his boot. It's a high skying ball inside 50. It wasn't where he wanted it, and Jordan Dawson read it best. Takes the mark and chips out towards Worrell, who's up to his 12th disposal on the field for the Crows. Chips it out towards Cook, who moves it to Laird. So just chip kicks for Adelaide here to get it outside of defensive 50. Another chip towards Saligo, who goes back 15 metres to Laird. Holding on to the footy at left half back down to Ian Coleman on the boundary.
Yeah, Michael Lenny's been taken down to the rooms, bleeding from the lip, might be getting a stitch or two.
He's Co's up. Lear up, moves the footy into centre half back where he's able to find Bond. His kick comes out wide towards Nick Murray, who puts the kick out of bounds on the full. So a long approach for Adelaide there, and they didn't have much to go to in the end. It's a kick out of bounds on the full. Jordan Goey will take it for the Pies.
Crows are playing like this is their first game of the season, making some silly mistakes.
Lazy switch
a little
kick, wasn't
bit
it?
sloppy, yeah.
To go into Houston, to Nick Dacos, and now to Scott Pendlebury, who started on bench once more tonight. Did so successfully last week against St Kilda. Finished with 26 disposals and 10 score involvements. Kicks to the pocket looking for Buller. And off the hands of Jordan Butts, it goes out of play with Worrell for support. So Collingwood yet to score. Adelaide 2-3-15. 20 minutes gone in the opening term. All the stats the way of the Crows. The inside 50s 10-12 their way. Meanwhile, at the SCG, it's the Swans by 39 points over Brisbane. That's 8-1 in the midway stages of the second quarter. Free kick going the way of Darcy Cameron in the ruck battle there against McAndrew. Mr. Goey tries to swoop around the back for a hand pass. Can't do so, so Cameron might have to have the set shot now. Out to the left. The man on the mark right on 50. Kicked a goal last week, Darcy Cameron, alongside his 19 disposals. He just puts this into the pocket looking for Jamie Elliott. It's not a bad effort. Miller made the spoil. Careful not to give away the free kick, although the Collingwood fans in the Olympic stand thought he might have been impeded. A throw in the left forward pocket for the Magpies.
That was well done by Miller. It was a bit of a floater kick from the Collingwood ruckman, but just did well just to get a fist in.
Adelaide ahead by 15 points. Collingwood still yet to score in this opening term. Lira clears it out, and it will be a mark taken by Peatling. Flares it out wide, and he's able to find Thilthorpe. He can mark right in front of the Adelaide bench, and in front of the interchange gates. He goes for a little jog before kicking to Neil Bullen, who gets a little push late from Frampton. And hand passes it off to Cumming, who's running alongside his left, and that is a shocker of a kick from Cumming. Goes right out of bounds at right angles and out of bounds on the full. Yep. So it'll be a Collingwood free kick.
Changed his mind halfway through the ball drop there. He was going long and then saw a teammate coming up at the leg and tried to change his mind, but too late.
Will Parker takes the kick for the Pies, kicks down the line. Neil Bullen collects, though. It'll be coming back in his direction by Rochelle, who puts the kick out of bounds on the full in the exact same point. So this will be another free kick to Will Parker.
We said there was no wind out there today, Perkin.
What did you say? Looks like a first game of the season?
Is this at Cardinia Park? This is going to break Cardinia Park's record of out on the fulls.
Will Parker takes the free kick for Collingwood. Left half back up the wing. Big fly from Nick Murray. Flies on the back of Darcy Cameron, but it's a free kick for the Collingwood ruck in front. And then Murray threw the ball back to Cameron, missed him, and Collingwood fans in the member stand asking for 50, not given. So Cameron turns and comes inboard. Finds Perryman. He has it on the AFL logo on the members' side. Adelaide by 15 points. You can chip it back to Pendlebury, who's centre of the members' wing. Collingwood only held goalless once last season. That was against the Gold Coast Suns, where they managed 4 behinds. In the end, the Suns won by a goal. The kick up towards the pocket. Membry trying to juggle the mark, can't complete it. Long's little toe poke work to Lipinski. Hand pass to McCreary to Sidebottom, trying to break the tackle. Got away from Cumming, gave it back to McCreary with a fresh haircut. He kicks up towards the goal square. Elliott flies in front, can't complete the mark. Lipinski spinning out of traffic. Great desperate defending by the Crows. McAndrew got back. Hand pass out to McCreary. He puts it out on the full. The hand pass from Long was clean, but the finish from Collingwood had struggled tonight. They're yet to score. Adelaide 2-3-15. 23 minutes gone. Opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Well, that's 6 out in the fulls by my count in this first quarter. 3 of them have been Collingwood shots for goal.
So Rory Laird brings it in, kicks it across to Rochelle, who turns over the footy by kicking it to Jordan De Goey. And De Goey marks in front of the Adelaide bench. 3 goals last week against the Saints, Jordan De Goey, and he goes back inside 50 here. It's a drop mark in the end from Cook, who brings it to ground. And it'll be a ball up 30 metres out from goal for Collingwood. They still haven't scored in this opening term. Adelaide 2-3-15, 24 minutes have ticked over in the opening term.
Thrown up, Darcy Cameron wins down the tap. It's straight to Rochelle of the Crows. Lost possession though. Underneath it, trying to knock it out to Goey. Cameron has a go. Lipinski on the run. Curls it across his body and misses to the right-hand side. So Collingwood are on the board. You get a round of applause from the fans at the punt road end. It took to the 24-minute mark, but Adelaide 2-3-15 lead by 14 points.
They bring in via the broadcast wing across to Cumming, who kicks it further down the wing to Peatley, who got a good nudge from Maynard there. And it'll be a free to Peatley. Oh no, it will be a throw-in. It's a fair bump coming there, and the throw-in will come in front of the Collingwood benches. Trailing by 14 points against the Crows in this opening term at the MCG. Cameron palms it down towards Steele Sidebottom, tries to go for a run, gets tackled, spins around 360, gets the kick away on his left boot. It'll take one bounce, doesn't quite reach inside 50. Worrell paddling it away towards Cumming. That might have come off his boot in the end, and it is a last touch rule. So in the end, the free will go to the Pies and to Schultz, about 60 metres from home for Collingwood. He chooses to centre the kick. It doesn't work for Degoe. He gets a hand to it. It just spills across his arm. And it'll be picked up and cleaned up by Pedlar, who kicks it out wide. Two coming again. So he marks that right half-back position for the Crows, where he's been lurking throughout the first quarter. Kicks down to Berry. Schultz is on him, and he's happy to carry it over the boundary line for a throwing right in front of the interchange gates and in front of our broadcast position here. Adelaide ahead by 14 points, 2-3-15, playing Collingwood with just the one behind. 25 minutes played in the opening term. It's Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
If you want to join us throughout the night on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Saligo crumbed it, tackled by Sidebottom, got rid of it eventually. Nick Dacos takes it for Collingwood, hand pass to Degoe, away to Schultz into the pocket. And a great kick for Elliott, and bounces out in front of Butts. And also Bond for a boundary throw in the left forward pocket for Collingwood.
Really need to make the most of those opportunities from clearance. Collingwood, you just feel on slow plays, they're going to find it difficult trying to find a target. So on those quick plays or from clearance, need to really hit those targets.
Miller and Worrell both up to 12 disposals for the Crows. This is taken by Berry. A clearing kick for Adelaide to half back. Fogarty in front, dropped the chest mark. Cleaned up by Peatling. Kicks up the wing for Thilthorpe. Frampton makes the spoil. Umpire said did so legally. As Walker comes across and helps Thilthorpe back to his feet. And a throw in front of the Adelaide bench. The Crows by 14 points. 27 minutes gone, opening term on ABC Sport.
Umpire spins it in as Cameron comes in, and so does McAndrew. McAndrew gets the tap out. Nick Dacos on the grass tries to pick it up, gets it to Sidebottom. Hand passes it backwards to Long, back to Sidebottom, who tries to hand pass back to Long over the top of his head. In the end, McAndrew's there, and he hand passes it over the top of his head as well. Saligo's hand pass is tapped by Sidebottom. It spills on the ground. Long pushes it away to Cameron. Hand pass across to Sidebottom, who finally puts it on the boot, and Schultz will mark it left half forward for Collingwood. Just stops for a little, takes a second to work out his approach, and then puts it as far as he can to a pack. McCreary at the top gets a hand to it, can't pull in the mark. Worrell's there and just clears the kick out of defensive 50 for the Crows. McAndrew front position, pushes it down. It's taken by Walker, who gets the footy across to Berry, and he'll put it on his boot. Maybe one last chance for a goal for Adelaide. Kicks it down across to Fogarty, who can't take the mark. He does the tackling though. He brings Frampton to ground. We'll have a ball up 51 metres out from Adelaide's goal.
So it's a 14-point lead Adelaide's way, and that'll see us to quarter time. McAndrew wins down the tap. Josh Dacos gathers. And one behind is Collingwood's lowest scoring first quarter under Craig McRae. Their lowest since round 9, 2017. Adelaide with goals to Isaac Cumming and Alex Neil-Bullen as the Crows try and seek redemption from last year, finishing as the minor premiers but losing in the finals, the qualifying final to the Magpies, and then the following final to the Hawks. They've made a good start here with Adelaide leading by 14 points. They haven't beaten the Magpies at the MCG for a decade. Meanwhile, the SCG second quarter action there, it's the Swans who lead by 38 points, 9-1-55 to Brisbane 2-5-17. 3 goals for Joel Amati. The Sydney Swans put on 7 goals to 1 in the opening quarter. And with those 5 outs for the Brisbane Lions, the suspensions of Harris Andrews, Darcy Gardner, and also Zach Bailey, the injury to Hugh McCluggage and Logan Morris also out. The Sydney Swans cashing in at the SCG there. Great to have your company tonight for Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
12 teams, 3 cities, 1 dream.
Great touch on the edge of the box, right foot strike, and she scores! Unbelievable!
ABC Listen, your home of the AFC Women's Asian Cup Australia 2026.
Dribbles to the edge of the area, strikes! Oh, it's in! What a wonderful goal!
One match live every day. Every Matildas game, every final. On ABC Listen. Just look for the green and gold Asian Cup button.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
The lights are on here at the MCG and all is in readiness as Adelaide look to start their 2026 campaign. Keen to put last season behind them, taking on the Magpies.
Mark is taken by Jordan Dawson, the captain of the Crows. Little stuttering step before he puts it on his boot and gets the Crows inside 50, coming all alone. Holds onto the mark and will have a kick at goal. The first time for Adelaide this season. So Isaac Cumming only missed 1 game in his first season for Adelaide last year. He dumped this one through the middle for the Crows' first of season 2026. Nick Dacos stands the mark. Kick from Malira across to Cumming. Will put Adelaide inside 50 with his chip that goes across towards Neil Bullen. Touch, no it wasn't. It was a late whistle. Neil Bullen will be paid the mark. He went to play on thinking it had been touched.
He knew it was touched.
And Alex Neil Bullen will get a set shot. 35 metres out from goal. Put Adelaide second on the board tonight. It looks good off the boot. And he's got the right result.
That's 6 out in the Bulls by my count in this first quarter. 3 of them have been Collingwood shots for goal.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Quarter time at the MCG. Bit of a scrappy arm wrestle in that opening term, but it's the Crows who lead by 14 points at the first break. 2-3-15 to Collingwood, 1 behind. Goals to Neil Bullen and to Isaac Cumming. Matt Clinch alongside Lauren Bordin calling the action, and Cohen's down on the boundary. The Australian Football Hall of Fame member Nathan Burke and the Carlton captain and 300 gamer Mark Murphy with you. Murph, Berkey, good luck. It was a bit of a scrappy first quarter.
You're spot on. The first probably 15 minutes was basically Adelaide's game. They came out, got their numbers back, and then worked the ball pretty methodically forward and found some good options ahead of the contest. Then probably the last 15 minutes, it was played between probably 90 out from Collingwood's goal and 30 out. Really, it was both teams couldn't really get any flow in their game at all. Collingwood kept on peppering by getting inside 50 opportunities, but just with their targets ahead of the contest, we just know they just don't have the names down there probably to drag them in at the moment. So they're going to have to make those moments count when they do get some quick play opportunities inside 50 and actually hit up the target. So that's what they're going to have to do better. But they wrestled the game back in terms of momentum-wise around the contest. They were 4-zip down in clearances early on in that quarter, Collingwood, and then ended up being 9-6 up. So they got to work around the contest, but just battling, trying to find that option inside 50.
The battle of the assistant coaches, it's not something we often talk about. But the backline coaches have got it all over the forward line coaches at the moment because both defences, the way that they're structuring up is just making it so difficult for the forwards. Pretty much, in a nutshell, both teams are keeping 2 defenders inside 50. So pretty much Frampton and Quaynor all the time, always inside 50, and Crows have 2 inside 50. The forwards are getting too high up the ground, so when we do get a free ball through the middle, we look up, we've got 1 forward generally against 2 defenders, and what that says to the play with the ball is I can't go there, I can't kick it long, so I'll try and invent something, and that's why we're getting the balls getting kicked out on the full. They're second guessing themselves at that last second before the ball hits their boot. I can't go there because they're outnumbered. So what I'd love to see is the forward coaches be a little bit braver and say, you know what, guys, we've got to even that up. Let's forget about condensing the middle. Let's back our players to have a little bit of space through the middle of the ground, and I want you to stay forward. Give our guys some targets. Trust our guys to get enough ball inside 50 and give them some really good targets, because at the moment, the small players have hardly been inside 50 because they're all hanging around in the middle of the ground. Crows have got 3 tall forwards, and they've marked the ball up on the wing a lot. Phil Thorpe in front of us, Walker in front of us, Fogarty's marked the ball in front of us. Haven't even looked like marking the ball inside 50, because if one comes up here, they've got at least 2 that need to stay home. So hopefully they'll sort out that forward line for both teams. Collingwood were a little bit better in the second half of that quarter, terrible early in that quarter. Through the middle, throw a blanket over it, fairly even. But hopefully their forward lines can get their act together and we can actually start to see that scoreboard tick over.
You were big on the centre clearances, Murph. The Crows won that 3-0, but with Lockie McAndrew and Toby Murray, the two inexperienced rucks up against Darcy Cameron, it means the Adelaide midfielders know largely it's going to be coming off the Collingwood rucks' hands.
And sometimes that's easier when we're an opposition midfield. When you know that the opposition ruckman is going to have that dominance, you can try and read their plays pretty easily and have almost your go-to be the reader as well. So what they're going to try and do in that midfield when Nick Dacos is around, it's either Saligo or Berry that's probably going to go to him in that area of the ground. We made mention of Dacos going deeper forward, going out to a wing, and they've dropped the tag when he has gone forward or gone to a wing. In and around the contest, it's either Berry or Saligo. So be interested to see who goes to him here, but you need a bit of a lift in that midfield for Collingwood to try and get the ball forward.
Second quarter underway, Adelaide by 14 points. Cameron wins down the tap against McAndrew, but it's Rochelle who wins it for Adelaide. Hand pass back to Dawson, the Crows captain up towards Walker. Can't take the mark against Perryman. Spoiled down, it's Maynard for Collingwood. Hand pass to Lipinski. Hand pass partially smothered as it's spoiled away. Hand pass from Peatling, chopped off, and Parker for Collingwood takes it back. Away to Perryman, to Cameron the ruck at half back, and now to Josh Dacos. Through the middle of the ground, the kick is too high for Rowan Steele. Slapped away from Tagoe, trying to link up with Buller on the wing. And eventually it rolls out of play as he contests for the footy with Jordan Butt, and the umpire will throw it in. Centre wing on the outer side, Adelaide by 14 points.
And Collingwood are leading the inside 50s 15-14, but there hasn't been anything that's exciting going inside 50s, so that's where they need to pick it up.
So McAndrew gets the tap away. It's Lipinski that picks it up and just hand passes it out wide. Crisp chasing after it as Berry hot on his tail. The ball will go inside 50 and bumble its way in for the Pies. Hand pass from Steele. Hand passes it across to Crisp. He has a shot from the boundary line and threads the needle in. And what a way for Collingwood to get their first of this evening, although we will go upstairs to check.
Or you can just have shots from the car park. May as well try your hand there. That's an unbelievable goal if that's...
Look at this angle. You see the ball's across the back of the goal.
Well over.
Yeah, well over. Decision on the scoreboard.
So Jack Crisp with an incredible goal from 45 metres out. Got the hand pass and then got the kick away and watched it sail through. And when you've waited till the second quarter to get your first goal, you might as well have a go at it from anywhere. And that has worked beautifully for Jack Crisp. It is Collingwood 1-1-7, Adelaide 2-3-15. The Crows leading by 8 points, a couple of minutes played in the second quarter.
Just a goal from clearance there. It was well done by Lipinski who hit that contest at pace, and then there was just rushing it forward. And Crisp, as we just made mention, kicking it from the car park, but that's on the left side for a left footer, which is, they're almost impossible to kick that way. And as we see a bit of the replay there, I don't know what you call that, Berkey. That's not a floater, that's not a
helicopter
snap, or sort of a half helicopter, isn't it? Anyway, great finish in the end.
Doesn't matter how it got there, it just got there for Collingwood fans who are on the board. At the 2-minute mark of the second quarter, McAndrew up against Cameron. Cameron wins down the tap looking for Crisp. He taps it away from Jordan Dawson. Scoops it up, hand pass back to Cameron. To Nick Dacos on 50. Chips it into the pocket on the bounce of Buller. Taps it away from Butts, but Laird read it best. The Adelaide defender takes back possession, but his kick is a turnover. Intercepting mark taken by Lipinski at left half forward for Collingwood.
It was a bit of a shank by Nick Dacos. It's very unusual.
Lipinski into the pocket. Elliott didn't fly. Two Crows compete against each other. Bond almost made a meal of it, crashing into Butts eventually. A shot from Buller, dribbled on the ground, and it's rushed through for a minor score for the Crows by Bond. Adelaide by 7 points.
Long kick out of defence, punched away from Frampton. Peatling picks it up. He's tackled to the ground by Parker, very close to the boundary line. Phil Thorpe picks it up, just gets a little kick away. Josh Dacos is there to gather. Moves it backwards towards Pendlebury, who darts the kick inboard across to Cameron. So Pendlebury played about 60% of game time last week. Used almost as a sub. Now there's 5 on the bench. Moved it to Cameron, who chips it forward towards Crisp. Goal kicker for Collingwood tonight. He darts the ball inside 50 to a pack forming in the right forward pocket. Elliott taps it away. Malira picks it up and Elliott tackles him. Then Schultz can gather. Hand passes it across to Nick Dacos. His snap is good. No. Just across to the left-hand side. Fell away late. Hit the goalpost in the end. The left goalpost. And it's just a behind for Collingwood, but a much improved second term from them. They're one straight kick behind the Crows, 4 minutes played in the second term.
They've evened up the numbers inside forward 50, so when it hits the ground, they've got at least a 50-50 chance of winning the footy.
Nick Murray brings Adelaide back into play. A long clearing kick up to the wing. Mark taken by Maynard. Tries to get a hand pass forward. Away to Crisp. Trying to get the break here. Hand pass to Lipinski. Backtracking as Pendlebury. Chips it into space at left half forward. Houston runs onto it. Nice kick. Found Rowan Steele. Leading up in the laneway, and he marks just left of centre. 45 metres out from goal.
Yeah, that's what they need to do, the Pies. The change of angles then. It was only probably two 20-metre kicks in all, but they shifted the defence. And when you change angles, that gives you an opportunity just to kick the ball into those little spots. It's a nice little kick in the end from Houston.
The mid-season pick-up last year from WA. Kicked his first goal against the Saints last week. Can he double up here? He misses to the left-hand side. And a minor score. Collingwood more attacking in this second quarter, though. Four scores so far, and the margin is back to 5 points Adelaide's way.
So Adelaide bringing the footy, and it's Rochelle with a kick outside of defence, gets it across to a Packet. Centre wing, outer side of the ground. Dawson with it, goes for the hand pass, spills over the boundary line. The umpire will throw it in. So not a last touch rule there from Dawson, but it will be a throw in directly at centre wing, right in front of the fans in the Shane Warne stand. Tossed in. Cameron, front position, almost tries to grab it out of the ruck. In the end, overruns it. And it's McAndrew that can pick it up for the Crows. Hand passes it away to Dawson. He gets tackled, just gets a kick away. Houston's able to pick it up for the Pies. Sends a hand pass out wide. In the end, has to go back, tracking it. And battles with Rochelle for the football. Pushes Rochelle off it. Picks it up. Hand passes it away. It's the Crows' footy until Lipinski comes in, does the tackling. And it will be a ball up on the outer side of the ground, just slightly to the advantage of Adelaide's attacking half of the ground. They're kicking towards the punt road end in this second term.
Both sides happy to play a player behind the ball. For Adelaide, it's been Max Michaelani, and Josh Dacos is the extra at the stoppage for Collingwood. Comes off Rowan Steele. No, it came off Josh Rochelle in the end. And a free kick going the way of the Magpies. Quickly taken by Lipinski. Sends it up to half forward on the bounce for Buller. He's tackled by Nick Murray, dispossessed. Berry takes it for the Crows. Hand pass over the top to Neil Bullen. Down low for Rochelle. Tackled by Houston. Tries to get it back to Miller. He can't run the gauntlet against Cameron. Tackled, dispossessed. Rochelle tries to knock it out to Neil Bullen. Now gets it to Miller. Hurries a kick up to Tex. On the bounce, Walker gathers. Floats a hand pass over the top looking for Thilthorpe. Breaks the Perryman tackle. Turns onto his right and bounces through a goal for the Crows. They had to work hard to get it through the middle of the ground, but eventually it ends up in the right hands, and Riley Thilthorpe puts through his first goal of the season. 60 goals last season, has his first in 2026. And the Crows get one back. They lead by 11 points. 3-3-21 to Collingwood, 1-4-10. 7 minutes gone, second quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport with Mark Murphy and Nathan Bird.
It's well done by Mike Miller there on the outer wing on the Shane Warne stand side. He just put his head over the football, had probably two efforts, and then it was just a good little offside kick, which just went to the advantage of Tex Walker. Didn't hit him on the chest, but Collingwood had numbers back and had owned all that space in front of the contest, and it was just a smart little kick that just opened up the whole ground for them.
So McAndrew back in the ruck for Adelaide. Palms it down towards Peatling, who kicks it right to centre half forward. It's Josh Dacos that collects for the Pies. Can hand pass it across to a running Lipinski on the outer wing of the ground. His long hand pass finds Crisp. Berries tackles him and dispossesses him, just pushes it away to find Cumming. And Cumming will go over the top of Berry's head, but find his teammate Neil Bullen, who's kicked though. He's absolutely chopped off by Houston. Stuck a hand out, almost basketball style, to grab it in. Chips towards Josh Dacos. Not quite 15 play on. Hand passes to his brother Nick, who kicks into the centre of the field. And it's Perryman that'll mark. Can chip it across to Quaynor as Collingwood switch to the broadcast side of the ground. Quaynor goes for a run, a little indecisive about what to do before chipping it to the top of the 50. The mark will be taken by Scott Pendlebury. And he'll just go 15 metres and chip it towards Jordan De Goey.
He's got Nick Dacos over the top, so we'll just work it to him, but he's still 50 out. On a tight angle out to the right. Sidebottom's on his own in the pocket, but Dacos has his back to him.
Yeah, just great work right in the end by all of the Collingwood midfielders, who they turned the ball over there on the defensive flank and then all just streamed across and all used one another. And Dacos ended up just drifting into some space here and no one wanted to pick him up.
Couple of behinds last week, one already tonight. Veers out to the right, gives it everything he's got. It's right to the goal line in the end. Cumming comes across and sees it through for a minor score. So Adelaide leading by 10 points. 9 minutes gone, second quarter on ABC Sport, while at the SCG, it's the Swans who lead by 48 points, half-time there.
The ball's brought back in. It moves its way all along to the outer wing. It could be going back the way of Collingwood's attacking 50 here as Jack Crisp collects. Hand passes to Goey. Hand passes across to Nick Dacos. He puts it on his boot to snap. And that snap was only getting one result. A goal for the Pies. And they cut back that lead that Adelaide's built. It's down to just 4 points. Collingwood, the home side of the MCG, 2-5-17. Adelaide, 3-3-21. Just 4 points the Crows' advantage. It's 10 minutes played in this second term. And it's Collingwood trying to fight back against the Crows.
That's where I love to see Nick Dacos getting handball receives and pushing forward, because it's a magnificent snap around the corner from around about 40 metres out and goes through the middle. He can do that quite easily. So getting handball receives and getting himself free in that area of the ground is really going to help Collingwood, because they haven't got a tall forward who's going to take the game by the scruff of the neck and kick 5 or 6. So if he can get himself like a Marcus Bontempelli today, 30 touches and 3 goals, that is going to just absolutely make a huge difference to this Collingwood team.
Back in the middle, McAndrew wins down the tap for the Crows. Thilthorpe, the rover, as he breaks out of the middle of the ground, gets to the edge of the centre square, went for home, and getting back, Isaac Quainer takes the mark, peeled off for Shelley. So there's one to watch. There had been word from the Crows during the off-season. They've used Riley Thilthorpe at times in the midfield in the same way Luke Jackson does for the Fremantle Dockers. Houston's going to get a 50-metre penalty here against Keys, which relieves the pressure, and Collingwood are out of defence. Into the middle of the ground as Houston takes it. Collingwood within 4 points. As he looks out to the members' wing, Josh Dacos the target. He marks between wing and half forward. Out wider to Lipinski. He marks. Still good 2 kicks out from goal at the city end. Just pokes a kick over the top to Nick Dacos. So Magpies had 140 marks against the Saints last week. This was one of the phases of the game they went to. The kick looking for Schultz, can't take the mark. Pedlin makes the spoil. Thilthorpe's hand pass out in front. And Isaac coming. In fact, it's Neil Bullen who's tackled and locked up. And a ball up in the middle of the ground. What do you think of Riley Thilthorpe as a midfielder, Murph and Berkey?
Didn't mind it then, streaming out of the centre square, but got to do some work on inside 50 kicks. But I need someone to pick up Nick Dacos. He's had 3 shots already in this second quarter.
Side bottom to Perryman, who can put Collingwood back inside 50. McCreary chasing after it. Malira gets there first. Hand passes it away to Nick Murray, who gets the hand pass to Michael Annie. It's just picked out of his hands and stolen by McCreary, who'll have a shot at goal. But it's always offline across to the left. Another score, though, for the Pies. It means they're trailing now by just 3 points. 2-6-18. Collingwood, Adelaide, 3-3-21. 12 minutes played in the second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
My answer to your question, Clinchy, was no.
It's okay. Worrell, long kick into the middle of the ground. Thilthorpe brings it down. Dawson lays the tackle on Maynard, holding the ball. Adelaide free kick in the middle of the ground. Jordan Dawson plays on and veers out to the left. He looks out wide to half forward, where Peatling has made space in front of Darcy Cameron. So Darcy Fogarty off the ground. Pedler's gone deeper, and Thilthorpe being used as a midfielder for the moment. Peatling out to the right. Sends it long in the direction of Thilthorpe. Big fly from Pedler at the back. No mark claim. Long spinning out of traffic. Richelli got him holding the ball. Adelaide win a free kick in front of goal in the left forward pocket. And Josh Richelli, he's never far from the action, wins the free kick.
It's always dangerous trying to spin and avoid tackles in your D20. It's just something that you should just never do. You either just accept the tackle, or unless you're free, you just handball or kick it to it as far away as possible.
Richelli comes around, curls it across his body, then puts through the answering goal for the Crows. After Nick Dacos at one end, Josh Richelli steadies for the Crows, and it's a 9-point lead Adelaide's way. 4-3-27 to Collingwood 2-6-18. Richelli doing a little bit of work with the midfield over the off-season, but still a threat in front of goal. Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke in just a moment, but Ian Cohen on the boundary first.
Clinchy, you spoke about Darcy Fogarty. He's just running back on in exchange for Tex Walker. One more goal for Darcy Fogarty, and it'll be 200 up for him in Crows colours.
Just another one there by the Crows, probably against the flow, really. Collingwood have owned this second quarter just in every facet of the game, but they've just found themselves just giving up 2 easy goals as a result. So they've had the 9 inside 50s, Collingwood, to Adelaide's 4. Just haven't made them pay, kicking 2 goals 5 to Adelaide's 2 goals.
So Adelaide back out by 9 points, and in the middle it's another clearance for the Crows as Berry takes it and kicks it out wide. It's punched away though and brought to ground. It'll be picked up though by Cook, and he can put the Crows right inside 50. It's a shallow entry. Archie's there, contests the footy, can't take the mark. Allows Parker a chance to grab it, and he's taken by Saligo. The umpire will come and ball it up 40 metres out from Adelaide's goal. So Carl Archie hasn't spent a whole lot of time on the field so far for Adelaide in this match, neither has Toby Murray. With those 5 players now on the bench, and it's Adelaide's first outing with that in the AFL competition, their first game of the season. As the ball's tossed up, Peatling hand passes it out to Neil Bull and just chips it inside 50, and Fogarty will mark 45 metres out from goal, but a tight angle just inside from the boundary line.
Well, that's just great vision, great touch from the experienced player, Neil Bullen, who just, as soon as he received that football, he just knew that he had some space over the back for Fogarty to work into and just put it out in front of him. So rather than just banging on the boot, just that ability to see a teammate first class.
Darcy Fogarty now signed on until 2031 for the Crows. Kicks this one towards the goal, and it's just off for a point. So no goal 200 just yet. Still on 199. Crows ahead by 10 points. 15 minutes played in the second.
Josh Dacos looks to bring Collingwood back into play as he looks to Perryman in the back pocket. Of course, 5 players on the bench this season, so it'll be interesting to see how each team does use it. Perryman up the wing. Cumming makes the spoil for the Crows, but straight in the path of Sidebottom. Gets the hand pass away to Crisp from right half back. Kicks to McCreary, running back with a flight against Millerer. Takes the mark. He looks up and has Membry in a 2-on-1 inside 50, so pushes back behind his mark.
There's 3 Collingwood players and 6 Crows players pushing back inside 50, so he's got no other option than to go sideways. That's why Collingwood have got uncontested marks 19-4 at the moment.
Inboard to Ed Allen, and now to Nick Dacos. Sends it in that Membry direction, in from the side. McStay can't take the mark. Butts first onto it. Hand pass to Pond. He's tackled. And McStay and also Membry, and the umpire will ball it up 40 metres out from Collingwood's goal. Adelaide by 10 points. 16 minutes gone. Second quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Parker grabs the footy, and then he's taken by Peatling and stops him from going any further, and he'll be pinned for holding the ball. So free kick to James Peatling. He flares it out wide towards Jordan Butts. Back into the side after he had that lacerated, it was a punctured lung last year, and he couldn't quite get his way back into the side for the finals campaign. Now back in it for round 1. He kicks out towards Laird, who marks on the other side of the ground. Long kick down to a pack, and Cook is able to juggle the mark, not paid, but he's able to get a quick kick away to right half forward where Perryman marks just inside the boundary line, and will be a Collingwood ball as he chips it across to Josh Dacos. Left half back for the Pies. Both of their goals in the game so far coming in this second term. They're trailing by 10 points as he chooses to just chip it across back to Perryman, who again will go slow as he's able to find Houston. So they're still in the defensive half of their ground, Collingwood, trailing by 10 points, 18 minutes played in the second.
Houston as far as he can up the wing. Schultz up with one arm on the back of Laird. Can't complete the mark, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. At the SCG, it's the Swans 10-6-66, leading Brisbane 2-6-18. Joel Amartey with 3 goals in that match. Geelong came from behind to defeat the Fremantle Dockers by 10 points, and the Bulldogs 81-point winners over the Giants earlier today. McAndrew wins down the tap for the Crows, looking for the efforts of Saligo, trying to duck out of a tackle. Cameron for Collingwood, hand pass to Nick Dacos. Squeezes a kick forward, not 15, and Laird on the bottom of the pack. Can't knock it clear.
Collingwood have still got an extra man up at this stoppage, and they have Miller sitting back inside the hole for the Crows in their defensive area, so making it really hard for the Collingwood forwards.
Perry from the stoppage for the Crows. Hand pass missed Peatling. Taken by Nick Dacos, got it away to Long, kicks Collingwood up to half forward. De Goey sliding in with one arm, can't take it cleanly. It's Neil Bullen for Adelaide. Hand pass away to Cumming, gets it forward to Saligo. He has it in the middle of the ground. He looks to play on, having taken the mark. Kicks looking for Archie, spoiled away from him by Parker. It ricochets out to left half forward for the Crows. Cumming didn't do it all that gracefully, but slaps it back into the path of Michael Annie. His kick is offline in the left forward pocket, and it's too wide. So Darcy Fogarty and out of play. So Perryman to take the free kick. Out of bounds on the full. Adelaide by 10 points.
Former Giant with the ball. Runs into the field of play and then kicks it down the wing. It'll go close to the boundary line. A contest there. Malira gets two hands on it, but he'll just carry it over the boundary line for a throw-in. Between wing and half forward for the Crows. There'll be a boundary throw-in with Adelaide leading by 10 points. A lot of close finishes between these two sides. In their last meeting, of course, in the qualifying final, it was the Pies that won by 4 goals at the Adelaide Oval. As the ball's tossed in, Berry grabs it. He's taken by Long, spins him around in the tackle, and he wins the footy. And it'll be Long's free kick to take. He just chips it across to side bottom. Still at right half back for Collingwood. It's a long hand pass across to Nick Dacos, who goes for a little jog and then puts it on his boot. Spots up his brother Josh, marks, and then runs into the brick wall of Toby Murray. And he's stopped in his tracks. Josh will take his kick, though, from about 70 metres out from goal for Collingwood. Centres it to a pack. It spills out the back towards Lipinski. Just can't gather it cleanly in the end. Has to push it away. Neil Bullen in a battle for it. Parker picks it up 55 metres out from goal for Collingwood. Puts it into the right forward pocket. It's Laird who can take it and pass it across to Bond. And Bond will flare it out wide to the right back pocket towards Cook. And he'll chip it across to Nick Murray.
Nick Murray looks for a way out of defence, sends it as wide as he can, where Pedler has worked up the ground. He marks it right half back on the Shane Warne stand side. Adelaide by 10 points. Pedler sends it up the wing. Thilthorpe the target in front of Quainer. Can't complete the mark. Ed Allen's onto it for Collingwood, brought down by Fogarty. He'll turn to the umpire, he and Cook, and he'll ball it up centre wing on the outer side. Adelaide by 10 points. Nick Dacos up to 11 disposals in this second quarter. From the ball up, Darcy Cameron does the ruck work and the roving, tries to soccer a ball forward. Buller was clever, outside of the boot, got it to Schultz. Hand pass to Steele, inside 50 to Lipinski, wants to give it back to Steele. Left forward pocket has a fumble, then curls onto his right hand side. It's a good recovery as he puts through the goal. Rowan Steele, the Western Australian, puts through his second goal in AFL footy. And the Pies move a little closer once more. It's a 4-point lead Adelaide's way. And booted 3 goals, 5 Collingwood in this second quarter to Adelaide's 2 goals, 1. The Magpies 3-6-24, trailing Adelaide 4-4-28.
There was another goal from stoppage there by the Pies. It was Schultz who comes up as that high half forward. And then they just rushed hard back towards goal, and Adelaide almost just refused to pick them up, whether it's a work rate thing or they just didn't actually see them get goal side. But yeah, they just let them just get goal side, and it was an easy option for both those Collingwood players then just to use one another and just work it forward. So just Adelaide's defence there, just a bit slack, but Collingwood too, just a work rate there from clearance was really important. That's the second time this quarter where they've had those stoppage goals.
James Peatling goes after the footy, gets tackled to the ground. McAndrew has a go at it. In comes Chris, plenty of players around the footy. Sligo's in there as well. Umpire will come in to throw the ball up. Rowan Steele's favourite players growing up, Lenny Hayes, Robert Harvey, and that's it. Sorry, Berkey.
Waiting for it.
Just didn't quite make the cut, unfortunately, for Rowan Steele, who's 24. The kick will come back. Rowan Steele's way in the end, inside forward 50 for Collingwood, but it will be cleared up by Bond, who can take it for the Pies. Kicks it out wide. And Kuckelmark still slightly inside defensive 50 for the Crows. Chips out towards Worrell.
I finished playing 23 years ago. So.
He knows Robert Harvey, Berkey.
He kept going long after me.
Long? Chip out comes towards Laird. He chips in towards Worrell. At least he was a St Kilda fan over in the West, so...
Fair enough, I'll give him that.
Support coming from Western Australia for Rowan Steele, who, like Clinchy said, kicked his second goal in his AFL career just a few moments ago. The ball sits at half forward as McAndrew puts it inside 50 for Adelaide. Quaynor just running onto it, shins it and gets it outside of defensive 50. It'll come back his way as Neil Bordin has the footy, kicks it inside forward 50. Pedlar has it, dribbles it towards goal, and I think he's got it.
No, I reckon it's touch. I reckon Pendle's got there and pushed it through. Ooh, it's going to be close.
So he's dribbled it towards goal, and we will have a score review to have a look if it was touched.
Umpire's call is one behind touched. Please confirm happened before the goal.
Umpire's call touched.
Looking at this angle, you see the ball's touched before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
You did well there, Pendles.
And everyone was right there, and Pendles touched it. 2 hands on it right before the line. Might have even touched his thigh before going over the line, but just a minor score for the Crows. The lead is out to 5 points, 4-5-29. Collingwood 3-6-24.
Lauren Bordin alongside Matt Clinch, Nathan Burke and Mark Murphy, your experts. Ian Cohen on the boundary. Houston brings Collingwood back into play, trailing by 5 points. Finds Jordan De Goey leading up at right half back. De Goey might be keen to get to the main break. We're still 4 minutes away. Out wide to Quaynor. He has it at right half back, about 5 metres in from the boundary. Eyes darting in the middle of the ground. He's going to have a go at it. A kick towards Cameron against 3. Nick Murray in from the side. Couldn't complete the mark. Lipinski's hand pass chopped off. Soligo tries to scoop it out for the Crows. Got it to Dawson. Hand pass back to Miller across half back. Looks inboard and has butts. And takes the mark at the back edge of the centre square. Looks out to the outer side. Nothing really appealing on that side. So we'll kick laterally to Jordan Dawson, who marks at left half back. The Crows captain looks for the lead of Thilthorpe. Running along the boundary line, he marks. Now where to? Risky kick, buries the target. Flying from the side, Maynard failed to clear it. And running onto it, here's a chance for Peatling. Picks it up for Adelaide. Hand pass to Laird, missed him. McCreary swoops onto it for Collingwood and wins it. To Nick Dacos, who ran into Thilthorpe. Big tackle laid. Ball spills clear. Archie can't get a kick away. Soligo ducked his head, got it to Thilthorpe. He's bounced back. Kicks a high ball inside 50. Fogarty on a 2-on-1. And Billy Frampton gets back, supporting Perryman. And Collingwood take the mark. Kicks up to Crisp at half back and now to Quaynor.
Quaynor puts it down, centre wing. De Goey marks, wants to move it on quickly and hand passes it towards Maynard. The kick's a little bit of a shank, but gets to centre half forward. It'll spill inside 50 for Collingwood, but it'll be cleaned up and put away by Bond. But De Goey's back there to mop it up. He can hand pass it to McCreary, who doesn't mind a run and a snap from 40 metres out. He's got it. And McCreary puts Collingwood in front for the first time tonight. They're ahead by 1 point. The Pies didn't kick a goal in that first quarter. And now they are in front by just a point. 4-6-30 the Pies. The Crows 4-5-29. 26 and a half minutes played in the second term. It's Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, the Crows just a bit too sloppy there, Berkey. They had the opportunity on turnover to really make Collingwood pay, but just were sloppy with their hands and just gave him a goal, really. And it was up to De Goey, who just mopped that up and just walked it over to McCreary, but you just can't miss those little easy handballs and kicks, especially in that area of the ground. Adelaide and Collingwood have just pressured them all quarter, though, and it's almost a bit of referred pressure sometimes when you're under enormous heat. And I think that's what Collingwood are really doing to Adelaide at the moment.
Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport. 4-2 Collingwood's way in this quarter. Out of the middle, Penderbury gets it away to Nick Dacos. The key movers involved. Kicked this over the head of Buller. And Jordan Butts takes the mark for the Adelaide Crows. Right back pocket, 40 metres out from his defensive goal. Kick hangs in the air a little while, looking for Soligo. Brought down by Parker. Crisp got it to Nick Dacos. Now away to Schultz from 45. Fires on goal and hits the left goal post. The Magpies are on the charge. The last 2 goals in the match, 3 of the last 4. And they now lead by 2 points.
Yeah, they're getting some looks on turnover, the Pies at the moment. Adelaide just making errors that they shouldn't really make for a side that finished on top of the ladder last year. They've been very scratchy tonight.
Ray Malira takes a bounce as he brings the footy back in from full-back and chips it towards Carl Archie, the 2-time Lions premiership player. He's now in Crows colours. A little bit of a hammy injury during the State of Origin match. But here in round one, chips it across to Laird, who just turns the footy over under no pressure at all. Nick Dacos has it too, in dangerous hands for Nick Dacos, and he kicks towards goal. But it's just a point. It went close, and just a behind for Collingwood, but they are pushing it towards the goals at the moment. They're now ahead by 3 points after being down by as high as 15 points in the opening term.
Crows want their siren to go.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
4 goals, 7 for Collingwood in this second quarter. So shots on the monitor in the commentary box of Matthew Nix, who has the hands over his face. Highest by 3 points. Pedler at half-back, got it from Cumming, sends it up the wing. Thilthorpe was pushed out of it. Cameron dropped the mark for Collingwood. Maynard cleans it up into the middle of the ground. Kickling for Lipinski. Chopped up by Nick Murray. Great intercepting mark. At the edge of the centre square, he looks inside 50. Fogarty the target. Leads up and takes the mark in front of Quainer. And that's where the mismatch in size is going to favour the Adelaide key forward. Just held his spot in front. And there wasn't much Isaac Quainer could do.
Well, that's where Quainer needs some help. So that ball was obviously going to Fogarty. The other Collingwood defenders must have known it's not going to my bloke. I need to get over there and cut that off, or at least make it a little bit more difficult for Fogarty. But they just left poor old Isaac out by himself.
That's where they're missing Howe or Moore, aren't they?
41 goals last season for Darcy Fogarty. One behind so far tonight from 45 metres out. He likes it off the boot, pumps his fist, and it's a big goal for Adelaide right on half-time to give the Crows back the lead. Adelaide by 3 points at the main break. 5-5-35 to Collingwood 4-8-32. And despite the Magpies kicking 4 goals, 7 to Adelaide's 3-2 in that second quarter, the Crows keep the go-ahead goal on half-time to have the lead, and at least some pride for much of their dominance of that first half. For Adelaide, all individual goal kickers, Thilthorpe, Rochelle, Neil Bullen, Fogarty and Cumming, while for the Magpies all came in the second quarter through Crisp, McCreary, Dacos and Steele. Adelaide leading by 3 points at the main break after the Crows led by 14 points at quarter time. Meanwhile, the SCG third quarter action underway. It's the Swans who lead by 46 points. 10-6-66 to Brisbane 2-8-20, with Joel Amartey having booted 3 goals. The thoughts of Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport. It's Adelaide who lead by 3 points.
To me, the difference in that quarter was the change of sort of defensive patterns in the Adelaide Crows. Watching them in the first quarter, whenever Collingwood had the ball on the half-back line, the Crows were pretty much going man on man. You sort of look across the ground and every single Crows player was standing next to a Collingwood player. And Collingwood couldn't get their chip mark game going. This quarter was almost like they've said at quarter time, okay, they're probably over there trying to plan to get through our man-to-man, so let's go into a zone. And the zone didn't work for them. It was something like 38 uncontested marks to Collingwood in that quarter, because they were able to chip their way through, got the ball inside 50, won the inside 50s, and ended up scoring a lot more through that inside 50s. So I think that change of defensive patterns from the Crows didn't quite work for them, because it allowed Collingwood to play their game. That's what they want to do. They don't care if it's got to go sideways 3 times in a row, as long as they've still got the football and the other team don't have it. So that, and also what was working pretty well was bringing that extra forward up into the stoppages, but still keeping 5 home. And so when they had that extra play around the stoppage, won the footy, got it forward, it was 5 on 6. It wasn't 3 on 6 like it was in that first quarter. The ball stayed in there a little bit more often. They got a couple of scrappy, sloppy goals. Nothing was really pretty, but they got goals. So that was a good change there for the Magpies, but a lot of it came from what Adelaide allowed them to do.
Yeah, that's right. And when you allow Nick Dacos to bob up in pockets of space, and Houston, I mean, Nick Dacos had the 22 disposals. He's had the 19 uncontested possessions. So that's telling you he's just working the angles, and they're rewarding him, whether that's by handball, receives, or short uncontested marks. But Burke, you alluded to the fact that the Collingwood forwards were equalising better. I think from stoppages they were just working harder back towards goal, and Adelaide weren't actually going with them. So they were getting beaten on the spread, and they owned that entire second quarter. Then Collingwood, they just couldn't make them pay on the scoreboard.
So Nick Dacos had 15 disposals in that second quarter. Felt like sort of Sam Berry went to him early. Saligo went to him a couple of times in that second quarter at stoppages, but not much else than that.
No, you're generous by saying they went anywhere near him at any point in that second quarter. Thilthorpe had the opportunity. I reckon if it was 10 years ago, Nick Dacos would have almost been carried off the ground. With that one that got bobbled up,
he should have cut him in half.
He looked after him, didn't he? It was one of those ones where it was a perfect opportunity, and to do it fairly though, but tackle him and really drive into his ribs. For the size of Nick Dacos, if you were put him next to Thilthorpe, it's man versus mountain there. It's David versus Goliath. That's what it is. But he's a superstar, Nick Dacos. He bobbed back up again and got another touch probably 20 seconds later. But you just can't allow a bloke of his talent to go around and get 22 disposals, 15 in that quarter, as you said. Clinchy, I think he had the 3 shots within the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
So forwards like Wayne Carey and Dermot Bordin have just turned the television.
I was thinking of your old teammate, Tony Lockett.
Anyone got in their space?
Yes.
Poor old Nick, he'd be hanging off the Shane Warne sign.
Yep.
He'd be hit that hard.
Yeah, but you can do it fairly. But anyway, they had the game back on their terms. Then the Pies, they just didn't make the Crows pay, and the Crows go in a really important goal there right in the final siren just to give them some sort of momentum going into that break. But it was all Collingwood's in that second quarter.
So Nick Dacos has 22 disposals. On the other side, Wayne Miller has 20 for Adelaide as they look to set up so much of their game through either he or Josh Worrell, Max Michaelani. The question, I guess, Murph, has been around their forward line. So Darcy Fogarty, the 2 disposals, he's kicked 1 goal, 1, but Tex Walker just the 5 disposals. Well, Thilthorpe had that one chance streaming out of the middle where he probably could have gone for goal, but 8 disposals for him. Is that forward line going to work again this season for Adelaide?
Oh, it's not working tonight, is it?
Not at the moment.
It looks pretty average out there at the moment. You think when you look at the Collingwood defenders with the likes of Moore and Howe being out of that side that, well, they would have been licking their lips, I think, coming into tonight, thinking, well, we're going to get some opportunities, but they haven't really been anywhere near it. So you've got to give credence to the undersized Collingwood defenders. Quaynor, I think, has been terrific tonight, playing on a bloke who's probably 10 or 15 centimetres taller than him at various points. But, yeah, they just need to get some quicker ball movement through their midfield, the Crows, but they need to just get their hands on the footy. They just couldn't really get in that second quarter. So Collingwood, outside of probably the first 15 minutes of the game, have really been all over the Crows.
To me, Miller is the one. He's had 20 possessions. And it's normally his player who comes up into the stoppages around the middle and leaves him free inside 50. If I'm Collingwood, I'm trying to orchestrate as much as possible that it's not Miller's man to go up into the middle. Keep him accountable for someone, send somebody else up there. They'll try and switch around, but at least you'll have that time where he does have an opponent because he's the one getting in the way.
That's right. He's had the 4 score involvements. He hasn't had the 20 disposals, but he's playing off a halfback flank, isn't he? So he's the one that you really need to tighten up on.
And Miller and Worrell both going at over 90% disposal efficiency for the Crows. The thoughts of Mark Murphy and Nathan Burt to half-time. Adelaide took back the lead through Darcy Fogarty on the half-time siren. 5-5-35 to Collingwood, 4-8-32 after the Magpies took the lead in that second quarter. The second half still to come on the other side of the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with David Rowlands. There's still no indication of what role a US Marine Expeditionary Force would serve in the Gulf region. Larry Buttrose has more.
Unnamed US officials say thousands of troops are being sent to the region from Japan. They say the Pentagon is also sending the amphibious assault ship USS Tripoli to join the substantial US armada already off the coast of Iran. The move comes as the US-Israeli war on Iran enters its 3rd week. In another development, US President Donald Trump says US strikes have obliterated all defences on strategic Haag Island in the Persian Gulf, which is the conduit for about 90% of Iran's oil exports. He says its oil facilities were not hit, with Iran threatening dire reprisals for regional oil facilities if they are.
Meantime, video verified by the Reuters news agency shows a fire burning at the US Embassy building in the Iraqi capital Baghdad, sending dark plumes of smoke into the sky. It follows a missile strike on the sprawling complex in the fortified green zone of the capital. It's the latest strike in the Middle East as the US-Israeli conflict with Iran continues to broaden across the region. Petrol companies have been asked to meet with the consumer watchdog amid soaring prices at the Bowser. Motorists have been paying over $2 a litre due to the war in the Middle East. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has found retail prices moved in line with higher wholesale prices on the same day, rather than a few days later, as is usual practice. Shadow Energy Minister Dan Tehan says those ripping off customers need to be pulled into line.
What we now need to make sure is where there has been gouging, that the ACCC does act. And my hope is that if anyone is gouging, that the ACCC will take firm action.
Remote communities in the Northern Territory remain underwater as the town of Katherine begins the clean-up from their second worst flood on record. George Nicol has the story.
The NT Chief Minister says that every building in the remote community of Nauru is submerged, with many flooded up to their roofs. It's the biggest flood the community has ever seen and the second time this year that residents have been evacuated from the town due to major flooding. Meanwhile, flooding has subsided in Katherine and other smaller communities. The NT government has requested military assistance to help with clean-up efforts. Leah Finocchiaro said this morning that $1.1 million worth of relief payments had been issued, with more to come.
Still in the top end, where around 60 people have attended a traditional dance to welcome the King and Queen of Denmark to the Uluru-Kata-Tjuta National Park in the Northern Territory upon their arrival in Australia. Victoria Ellis is there.
A sea of white umbrellas and people huddled in rain jackets fan around a red dirt dancing space. The onlookers are watching the King Frederick and Queen Mary watch in Inma, the local Ananu name for traditional dance, to welcome their majesties to the area. The dance features singing in language, men using clapsticks, and women wearing black clothes with headdresses and yellow, red and white stringing hanging from their waists. It's the first leg of the royal couple's 6-day visit to Australia.
A 47-year-old man has died in an accident at a alumina factory in WA's southwest. Emergency services were called to the Worsley refinery near Collie at around 4:45 this morning. The man was declared dead at the scene. Police are preparing a report for the coroner, and WorkSafe WA has opened an investigation. The refinery's owner, South 32, says non-critical work has been suspended at the site and the company has been assisting authorities. To sport, and Australia's women's soccer team, the Matildas, will face China in the semi-finals of the Asian Cup after the Steel Roses fought to a 2-0 extra-time victory over Chinese Taipei at Perth Rectangular Stadium. China dominated much of the game but had to wait until extra time to break the deadlock, with Shou Jiqin curling home from the edge of the penalty area before an own goal sealed their progression. The Australia-China semi-final will be played on Tuesday in Perth, while Chinese Taipei will play off for world qualification on the Gold Coast on Thursday. Australian snowboarder Ben Tudhope says he didn't expect to win a second medal at the Milano Cortina Paralympic Games. The 26-year-old has claimed a bronze in the banked slalom after grabbing a silver medal in the snowboard cross earlier. Tudhope says he can't believe how well he's performed in Italy.
So stoked on today and this whole Games, and yeah, today was just so much fun, and to come away with this bronze medal is insane.
ABC News.
Who will win the AI race? Has gambling become our national sport?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
This summer, have a safe one by learning your ABCs. A is for action plan. B is for be safe. C is for connect. Find your local ABC radio station. Go to abc.net.au/emergency.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Ball will go inside 50 and bumble its way in for the Pies. Hand pass from Steele. Hand passes it across to Chris. He has a shot from the boundary line and threads the needle in. And what a way for Collingwood to get their first of this evening.
Or you can just have shots from the car park. May as well try your hand there. That's an unbelievable goal.
Now gets it to Miller. Hurries a kick up to Tex. On the bounce, Walker gathers. Floats a hand pass over the top, looking for Thilthorpe. Breaks the pyramid tackle. Turns onto his right and bounces through a goal for the Crows.
With attacking 50 years, Jack Crisp collects. Hand passes to Goey. Hand passes across to Nick Dacos. He puts it on his boot to Snap. And that snap was only getting one result. A goal for the Pies.
Heatley now to the right. Sends it long in the direction of Thilthorpe. Big fly from Pedler at the back. No mark claim. Long spinning out of traffic. Richelli got him holding the ball. Richelli comes around, curls it across his body, then puts through the answering goal for the Crows. Hand pass to Steele, inside 50 to Lipinski, wants to give it back to Steele. Left forward pocket has a fumble, then curls onto his right hand side. It's a good recovery as he puts through the goal.
He'll be cleaned up and put away by Bond, but De Goey's back there to mop it up. He can hand pass it to McCreary, who doesn't mind a run and a snap from 40 metres out. He's got it. And McCreary puts Collingwood in front for the first time tonight.
At the edge of the centre square, he looks inside 50. Fogarty the target. Leads up and takes the mark in front of Quainer from 45 metres out. He likes it off the boot. Pumps his fist, and it's a big goal for Adelaide right on half-time to give the Crows back the lead.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Half-time here at the MCG, and it's the Crows who lead by 3 points, courtesy of Darcy Fogarty with a goal on the half-time siren. 5-5-35 to Collingwood, 4-8-32. Matt Clinch alongside Lauren Bordin calling the action, and Cohen's down on the boundary. Nathan Burke and Mark Murphy are your experts on ABC Sport. Earlier today, it was the Western Bulldogs who prevailed by 81 points over the Giants. It was Aaron Norton who kicked 6, and Sam Darcy who booted 4. So 10 goals between their two key forwards, and Marcus Bontempelli had a lazy 30 disposals and 3 goals. So the Bulldogs move to the top of the AFL ladder. It sets up what will be a good clash between them and the Hawks next week. While Geelong came from behind against the Fremantle Dockers, winning by 10 points. The Dockers recorded their best ever first quarter against the Geelong Footy Club, 8-3, their best ever effort away from Perth, but the Cats came rattling home with 8-3 after half-time. Geelong prevailing 16-14, 110 to the Dockers, 14-16, 100. So the Cats bounce back after their loss to the Gold Coast Suns last week, and for the Fremantle Dockers, it's a disappointing loss given that they started so promisingly in the first half. And the other game taking place tonight at the SCG, it's the Swans all over the Brisbane Lions, 11-7-73, leading the Lions by 40 points, 4-9-33. Joel Amati has 3 goals, Isaac Heaney and Logan McDonald with a couple, after the Swans booted 7-1 in the first quarter. And Sydney, like the Western Bulldogs, they look like one of the good sides in season 2026. The Lions, of course, missing Harris Andrews, Darcy Gardner, Hugh McCluggage and Zach Bailey, while Logan Morris was the 5th player who was ruled out of the side this week. And despite the inclusion of Sam Draper for his first game of the Brisbane Lions, they are chasing a heavy deficit in the second half. Adelaide by 3 points here at the MCG. Also, no shortage of other sport taking place at the moment. It's the final round of the Sheffield Shield. Victoria have already secured the final, but trying to work out who will face off in that final. So in the game between New South Wales and Western Australia, New South Wales posted 232. WA in response, day 1 for 33. Victoria against South Australia. South Australia posting 9 for 295 in day 1 in their match. 81 to Henry Hunt and 53 from Ben Manenti after 3 wickets to Todd Murphy and also to Scott Boland. Tasmania and Queensland. Tasmania 198. The Bulls in response from Bellerive Oval, 3 for 48. So we'll keep you across all of those results across the weekend. Also in the NBL semi-finals action today, Southeast Melbourne defeating Adelaide 101 to 92. So the Phoenix forced game 3. Nathan Sobey led the way with 41 points. And at Perth Arena, it's the Wildcats who lead Sydney 46 points to 43. So Perth need to win to force a game 3. Otherwise the Sydney Kings can lock in a grand final spot. The good news last night was that Matildas are through to the semi-finals of the 2026 AFC Asian Cup. Of course, coverage is available on ABC Listen. Just look for the green and gold button. So their opponent on Tuesday night will be China, as China defeated Chinese Taipei 2-0. So they'll take on the Matildas in a semi-final at Perth Stadium on Tuesday night. Coverage available on ABC Listen. So good news there for the Matildas. And Mark Murphy had a winner today at Caulfield as he joins now the Lloyd Williams Stakes with Birdman. Any other horses in your stable we should be aware of, Murph?
We've got a couple, but nothing like Birdman from today. So no, we've got another one called Navy Nina. So the Baggers Naggers is our syndicate name. So we've got a few current boys in that and a few former ones as well. So that all keeps us all tight knit, and we're not getting too carried away though. Group 2, so we're all about Group 1s.
Just soft win, mate.
We don't need to hear it again. Murph's watched it that many times.
Keep going.
Today on
the other
replay.
horses were Shetland ponies.
Just a little text message, Murph. If you think it's going to win next time, just let us know so the ABC family can get around you.
Yeah, sorry, Clinchy. I did say it, I reckon, on Thursday that it was going to go quite well against. But Buckaroo, we thought was just going to be a bit too good. But
Buckaroo ran in the Melbourne Cup last year.
Came second in the Cox Plate to Via Sistina. So anyway, we beat that today.
Yep. The footy action the footy action continues tomorrow as we turn our attention to other sides we haven't had the chance to see so far in 2026. The Kangaroos taking on Port Adelaide, so it feels like the pressure is building on Alistair Clarkson and the Kangaroos. They're looking for more than just progress this season, and Port Adelaide their first season under Josh Carr as he takes over from Ken Hinkley. So that's from Docklands, the early game. Melbourne and St Kilda, the first outing for Stephen King as the Melbourne coach. We'll see the two Pickett boys, Cozzy and Latrell, and the Saints keen to try and bounce back after their loss to Collingwood last week.
Big game for the Saints, Berkeys, and a big build-up last week, and they need to get the job done against the D's. Have obviously had those recruits come in, and there's a lot of talk around the Saints. I think they'll be too good, but be a little bit nervous tomorrow afternoon, I think, the St Kilda fans.
And, of course, the final game, the Gold Coast Suns take on the West Coast Eagles. So, Eagles had their challenges last season. It doesn't get any easier taking on the Suns, who just put on a score against the Cats last week. So, we'll get to see the number 1 draft pick tomorrow night. So, that'll be, no doubt, a reason to watch. And for Eagles fans, to hope that 2026 might bring a little more. The Bulldogs play Adelaide, yes, next week, not the Hawks. So, just trying to remember the round 2 games as we focus in. Adelaide play the Bulldogs on Friday night. Hawthorn plays Sydney on Thursday night. Players are in position, ready to go for the second half. Adelaide leading by 3 points. Here's Lauren Bordin.
Maybe another close one ahead for these two sides at the MCG. It's back in the middle. It's the captain of the Crows, Jordan Dawson, with a clearance. Just skids the ball towards Keys. Goes past him. Tex Walker can pick it up. Left half forward. Spins around. Evades Lipinski as the tackler and drops the ball into the path of Rochelle, who marks.
An important start there by the Crows, winning that clearance. And then Tex Walker, who we haven't seen too much of tonight, just shuffled free and just pulled that kick late to Rochelle. That was a really nice touch from the Texan. So really important start here by the Crows, who didn't get lucky before the siren, before half-time kicking that goal, but it was an important one leading into the half-time break. So important start here for the Crows.
Fogarty on the half-time siren put the Crows back in front. Now Josh Rochelle to skip in and give the Crows a goal within the first minute of the third term. He's pulled this one to the left. And it's just a minor score. The Crows extend their lead by just a point. They're out by 4 points, 5-6-36, playing Collingwood 4-8-32. Just a minute gone in this third term at the MCG.
That's a let off there. You can't be missing from 35 out, dead in front. Good bit of composure there by Tex Walker. One of the few signs of composure we've seen all game.
That's Tom Lynch. Houston to Quainer, turns it straight over. Chance for the Texan. Walker from 65. He's offline as well from left half forward. And this is the left-hand side. So 2 behinds for the Crows to take their lead from 3 points to 5 points. 90 seconds gone, third quarter. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Why is Nick Dacos kicking in? This is where he should be, where this is landing.
So he punches it right down and hits Jordan De Goey on the chest, 60 metres from where he kicked it. And De Goey will move it on across to Josh Dacos, centre wing outer side of the ground. His little chip comes towards Lipinski. Coming gets him high and a little late. But it's a mark to Lipinski nonetheless. So after moving it quickly to this point, Lipinski just slows things down and chips it towards Long. And then hand passes it across to Lipinski, who puts it on the boot. He'll go inside 50 here. And it'll be a mark taken by McStay just outside of the 50-metre arc. He turns it over with his kick, though. And he chips it inside 50 with a kick that only looked like it was directed for Isaac Cumming, of all people.
It's a bit of rust from both sides, sometimes going inside 50. As Worrell goes short to Rochelle and gives it back to Worrell. He kicks it out to Rory Laird, who marks at left half back. Continuing on Laird into his 15th season, a 3-time Malcolm Blight medalist. Kicks long up the wing. The target is Jordan Dawson. Quainer makes the spoil. Side bottom bumped off it by Archie. Gathers for the Crows. Gets the hand pass over the top. McAndrew links it up forward to Neil Bullen, who cuts back on his right-hand side. Looks inside 50. It was a great kick, as you heard. And Keys takes the mark. He's 45 metres out from home, which you think is well beyond him. He's slightly left of centre.
He's the one with ball in it.
Hang on. He's giving it off, Murph, on the run. Coming from 50. Sets it through for his second. Good option in the end. Adelaide gets some breathing space to start this third quarter. They lead by 11 points with the last 2 goals of the match. 6-7-43 to Collingwood 4-8-32. Isaac Cumming booted 7 goals last season. He has 2 tonight in round 1 for the Crows.
That's a great strike, isn't it, by Cumming? But it was the great ball use ahead of that which really opened up that goal for Berkey.
Ben Keys was such an important player for them last year, wasn't he? He going forward, he was just creating havoc. He'd pinch hit through the middle. Only the 4 possessions tonight and only 50% disposal efficiency. So he's someone that they would hope in this second half can start to have an impact, because barely sighted in that first half.
Neil Bullen's the one who's probably getting away from the Pies at the moment. He's had the 14 touches, 6 score involvements, so he's been pretty dangerous along that half-forward flank.
Back in the middle, it's Rochelle in there, who picks it up and hand passes it across to Dawson. Kicks from the centre bullseye of the field and puts it inside 50. Steals at the front, can soccer it away. Chasing after, it'll be Cook, evades a tackler, hand passes it to Millerer, who hand passes it back to Cook, just dabs the kick forward, finds Rochelle. Marks plays on quickly, and it's Millerer running along to his right, who can take it and pop it to the hot spot, top of the goal square. Thilthorpe rises and marks, and he'll have a shot from directly in front of goal.
Well, it's the old lead and fill, because what you had was Tex Walker leading straight at the play with the ball, and Riley Thilthorpe says, I'm going to hook back into the hole that he created, and takes a pretty much an uncontested mark in the end. So it's great forward craft there by the 2 big key forwards for the Crows.
His teammate Isaac Cumming just became the first multiple goal kicker of tonight. Thilthorpe to join him, makes no mistake from in front. He's got his second tonight, and Adelaide push out to a game-high 17-point lead early in this third term. It's the Crows 7-7-49. They're leading Collingwood at 4-8-32. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts Nathan Burke and Mark Murphy.
Well, there's a bit of play down here, Berkey, from Braden Cook, who just collected that loose ball, getting span out and directed off to a teammate. That was the one that really opened it up. But then it was Wayne Miller who gave the old 1-2 and just stepped around. I think it was Josh Dacos, which is no easy feat. And that delivery inside 50, we hadn't seen much of that in that first half from Adelaide, but just starting to move the ball a bit better at the moment.
And all of a sudden, Collingwood need to spark a response. Last 3 goals the way of the Crows either side of half-time. 14 disposals to 9. 22 disposals to 11 the way of the Crows early. Back in the middle, Pies get it to half forward. Elliott's kick is chopped up by Worrell. Links up with Jordan Dawson, just dribbles a kick as he's tackled by Nick Dacos. Out to Bond from half back, kicks up towards Walker. Sliding on his knees, marks on the Shane Warnstand side. Into the middle of the ground for Michael Lanny. Beautiful transition. Hand pass to Peatling. Kicks out wider still to Cook at right half forward. Still not inside 50. He looks up.
Tex on the fat side.
As Thilthorpe running back to the goal square, veers out to the right. He might go himself from 50 on the run. Great finish. Braden Cook, eyes darting for the forwards, thought I'm within range, has a crack and puts it through. That's 3 quick goals for the Crows in the opening 7 minutes of this third quarter, and they've opened up a buffer. A 23-point lead the Crows way, 8-7-55 to Collingwood, 4-8-32. Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport.
Well, it was involved in the last play and started up that chain, Braden Cook, that last goal they kicked. And then he was just patient. He got the ball at about probably 50 out, 55 out, and just let his forwards go to work, and then just started creeping across towards the boundary. And as we know, you can't move with that man on the mark. It just opened up the goal face for him, and geez, what a beautiful strike.
Josh Rochelle has made his name as a small forward, but he's in the centre bounce at the moment. He's got his hand on the ball twice, the last two centre bounces, doing really well.
So 3 quick goals to start the third. Can they go again here, Adelaide? Jordan Dawson with the footy. Just chips it out wide. And Cumming will mark. Centre wing. He puts it on his boot. It's a flat kick inside 50. Archie running on the lead, takes the mark, and now he'll have a chance to kick his first goal in Adelaide colours.
Geez, they look like a different team in the second half, the Crows. Previously, they probably would have just kicked it in and hoped for the best, but sometimes you get carried away with the tall forwards you have and you just throw it in there and just hope for the best. They've lowered the eyes, they've been more methodical in the way in which they're going forward. They're making Collingwood pay.
The dual premiership player with the Brisbane Lions kicked 4 goals in the 2024 grand final for his first as a Crow. It's off to the left-hand side. So another behind for the Crows. Lead is out to 4 straight goals. 8-8-56, Collingwood 4-8-32. 8 minutes played in the third term.
7-1, the inside 50s to start this third quarter. The Adelaide Crows way as Houston plays on from the kick in. Kick is over the head of Lipinski and Worrell. It's slapped on for Collingwood. Racing after it. Max Michaelani can't gather. It's knocked out Collingwood's way towards Nick Dacos. He and Long slide in. Try and wrestle the footy away from Worrell. Players over the top and the umpire circles and will ball it up. Just to the left of the centre circles in the middle of the MCG. Adelaide by 24 points. 3 goals, 3-0 in this third quarter through 9 minutes. Matt Clinch and Lauren Bordin calling the action. Ian Cohen down the boundary. Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke, your experts. Darcy Cameron gets a little toe poke on it, clears the congestion, but only as far as Archie. Took a long time to get rid of it. His kick is wide of Keys at half forward. Pendlebury's hand passed along, tackled by Dawson, wins a free kick for holding the ball. Adelaide take the advantage. Rochelle trying to get it to Philcorp on the lead. Maynard read it best. Takes an intercepting mark for Collingwood. Kicks up towards the wing. McStay has it for Collingwood. He gets the hand pass away. Ed Allen takes a bounce, streaming forward. Links up with McCreary. Palms up. He looks to switch it inside 50. No, he gives the hand pass in the end to Steele. Inside 50 from 45. On the run. Puts through his second. The 24-year-old didn't Collingwood need that. The first-year Pie, the second year if you include his mid-season pickup last year, just had the composure to realise it was best to go for goal himself. And after Adelaide kicked 3 goals in 7 minutes, the Pies get a steadier and Adelaide cut back to 18 points. 8-8-56 to Collingwood, 5-8-32.
Just want to give Josh Rochelle a rap. He comes flying through the middle and spots a Collingwood defender, and away they go down the other end. Ed Allen showed a really good turn of pace along the wing here, and what I like is he just took the game on. He said, tuck it under my arm and I'll back myself and my speed, and that just created the overlap handball, and well done by Steele. It's his second goal on the run on the way through, but badly needed there by the Pies because they've been completely outplayed so far in this third quarter.
It's 18 points Adelaide's lead after 3 consecutive goals to the Crows in this term. Collingwood fight back as Berry puts the Crows back inside 50 though. There'll be a chance here if Keys can pick it up. He's close to the boundary in the left forward pocket. He might go for goal instead. He centres it for Saligo, who stands there, puts his hands above his head and marks as his Collingwood opponents went flying past him. He stood in the right spot and stuck the mark.
Great kick, Ben Keys, perfectly weighted, just looked inside. He had it deep in that forward left-hand pocket and just knew exactly where he wanted it to go and put it to Saligo's advantage. But just the underground handball from Tex Walker, that's a bit of experience and class there, who gave Keys an opportunity.
Strong year last season from Jake Saligo to get a goal in the opening game of this one. He does. He squeezes it through. And Adelaide respond immediately to Rowan Steele's goal down the other end. They're back out by 24 points, 9-8-62. Collingwood 5-8-38. 11 minutes played in this third term, and Adelaide ahead by 24.
Tried his hardest to miss that one, Saligo, but again, just out of the clearances. So 5-1 to start this third term in Adelaide's favour. They're just getting some damaging entries inside 50 from that centre square bounce, and that's where it's really dangerous for Collingwood when they're undermanned with the likes of, obviously we've spoken about Howe and Moore not being down there. When you can get the ball directly out the front door from the centre clearance, under enormous heat early.
It's 9-2 inside 50. It's in favour of the Crows this quarter.
Back in the middle. Darcy Cameron up against Toby Murray. Tap down the way of the Pies, trying to clear it crisp. His little toe poke is only as far as Murray of Adelaide. Got it forward to Peatling, knocked off it in the end by Ed Allen. Saligo comes over the top of him and lays the tackle. And the ball's rolled out to the members' wing on the AFL logo. Adelaide by 24 points. The Crows with 4-1 so far in this third quarter. Toby Murray wins down the tap, got it to the advantage of Bond. Hand pass inboard to Peatling, links up with Berry, kicks a high ball inside 50. Rochelle out number 3 on 1. Did well, brought it down. Josh Dacos swoops on off Collingwood. Hand pass to Maynard, kicks out to half back where the mark is taken there by Buller. Working across half back. Comes inboard for Schultz.
And then looking, Schultz gets the hurry on from the umpire and puts it on his boot straight down the line to a contest. Cameron was at the front for the Pies. He pushes it down. It's Bond that collects though and just spirals the kick towards Fogarty at right half forward. Has to go tracking back to try and pick it up. In the end, he gets some support from Alex Neil-Bullen. And Maynard follows him over the line for a throw in between wing and half forward for the Crows. Looking towards the city end of the MCG, which has been the scoring end tonight. 11 goals, 3 to that end so far in this game. 4 goals, 3 towards the punt road end, which is the end the Pies are kicking towards in this third quarter. As from the throw-in, it's Allen that collects, hand passes it towards Cameron. Archie steals it, and then he's taken and pulled over the boundary line by Jordan DeGoey. And we'll have another boundary throw-in from almost the same position, a little further towards the centre of the ground.
Just the Collingwood midfield really struggling just to get their hands on the footy. Nick Dacos only had the one touch, and Crisp only the one touch. Just can't get their mitts on the football and give their forwards any sort of chance at the moment.
Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport. 10 inside 50, so 2 Adelaide's way. Cameron out of the ruck, kicks to half forward. Laird takes the intercepting mark for Adelaide. Across half back, he kicks to Worrell and now to Miller. Stretches it out to left half back. And Michael Annie sends Adelaide through the middle of the ground. Good kick finds Neil-Bullen. Looks up, has a player inside 50. It's over Saligo's head and Thilthorpe leads out and takes the mark on his chest.
That's just polish, isn't it?
Yeah, Michael Annie's kick back into Neil-Bullen shouldn't be allowed by Collingwood. So at the very least, their players have got to push over and maintain coverage through the corridor. So Michael Annie's kick has to go out to the wing. But because he was allowed to spot somebody up through the corridor, it just opened the runway up for Thilthorpe to come flying through. So covering that corridor by the Collingwood mids is terrible.
Riley Thilthorpe has 2 already tonight. He comes in from 45 metres out and he marks down his third. Starting to take over here at the MCG, the Crows leading man. Adelaide lead by 30 points, the biggest lead of the match after they've got on the charge in this third quarter with 5-1. Adelaide 10-8-68 to Collingwood 5-8-38. Nathan Burke and Mark Murphy, your experts on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it was really just the work rate then, as Berkey said, just from Adelaide just to work harder towards that open side. And I made mention about the Collingwood midfielders just battling to get their hands on the football at the moment. They're still battling trying to defend the ground, and unfortunately for their sake, Adelaide were just able to work the ball pretty easily through. But they've probably got their premier midfield in there now. So Dacos is back on the ground, Long's in there, Pendlebury's come back in through the midfield. So and some experience now in there.
Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, very animated was Nick Dacos with Craig McRae at that stage, and he's ended up at the bottom of this pack as well. We'll wait and see if he gets a free kick, but very animated discussion between coach and star.
And spot on goes up. It's a free kick to Nick Dacos in the centre of the MCG. From that ball up, he takes the kick and spirals the ball inside 50, and that is a direct turnover. Michael Annie sitting under the footy for the Crows, and he gets the cheers from the Adelaide cheer squad who was sitting at the punt road end.
He went to Torp out of the middle.
Interesting.
Highly unusual.
Michael Annie's chip towards Josh Rochelle, and he kicks it to Saligo right down the members' wing, chips it towards Neil-Bullen, who's been good tonight. He curls it towards Michael Annie, who's run all the way up to right half forward now for the Crows. His kick goes inside 50, looking for Thilthorpe in a battle with Frampton. The umpire saw a tug of the jumper, and Riley Thilthorpe has the free kick.
I don't know about that one.
I think why it was paid, you've got to have your eyes at the contest or at the ball coming in. He had his eyes away from it, back towards goal. It was almost a show of strength that you could say, well, Thilthorpe has dragged him back across, or you could say that Frampton didn't have eyes for the football. So the umpire's obviously gone for the latter.
Yeah, I reckon it's 50 cents each way who was pulling who around.
The forward gets the benefit of the doubt, and Riley Thilthorpe for his third this quarter sprays it across the left and doesn't make Collingwood pay for a little bit of his good fortune. Adelaide Crow's lead, though, is pushed out to 31 points. 10-9-69, Collingwood 5-8-38.
He is looking threatening, though. Jack Crisp tries to clear it from the back pocket. Kick was smothered. Had to try and clean it up. Hand pass to Quainer. Back to Crisp. Tackled and brought down. Adelaide take it back through Neil Bullen. Hand pass to Cumming. Harder gets the boundary line. Keys into the pocket for Pedlar. Leaning back, takes the mark in the left forward pocket. And Collingwood just can't transition out of defence at the moment.
Yeah, well, they're turning the ball over at the moment. The Crows just outside their own 50. And they're just being clinical with the way in which they're using the football. We saw very little of that in the first half, outside probably the first 10 minutes from the Crows, but they've certainly got their game up and going now.
13 goals, 2 last season for Luke Pedlar as he starts against the boundary in the left forward pocket. Looking for a 6th goal for Adelaide in this third term. He comes in and threads the needle. When you are hot, you're hot. And the Crows are feeling it at the moment. They're swinging from the hip, and they might knock Collingwood out in this third quarter. A 37-point lead after Adelaide led by 3 points at half-time. 11-9-75 to Collingwood 5-8-38. They're all keen to get involved now. Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, momentum's such an important thing in football, and when you've got it, you've actually got to hit the scoreboard. And Collingwood in that second quarter had all the momentum, all the play, but just couldn't really put Adelaide to the sword in that second. But the third term, Adelaide have got the ascendancy now, and they're making every post a winner. They've had the 13 inside 50s to Collingwood's 3. I think the 6 goals 4 is a big quarter of football.
We've taken 11 marks inside 50 to Collingwood's 3.
7 of the last 8 goals now, the Crows. But it's Collingwood trying to do something about it. It's a kick forward from Buller. He'll get to half forward, comes back towards Pendlebury, who has to hand pass it forward, puts Buller in a little bit of trouble, but can hand pass across to McStay, who just curls the ball inboard, but Nick Murray's there to clean it up for the Crows, and he can chip it out towards Neil Bullen, who's got plenty of space in front of him on the members' wing, chips it to Archie. All alone ahead of Houston, marks right at centre wing on the AFL logo, and he'll get some distance on this kick and curl it towards Fogarty and Frampton. Frampton had front position, and this time it will be Billy Frampton that gets the free kick. And he wins out in this contest. Switches it across to the right back pocket to find Isaac Quainer, who has 2 bounces. Pedlar closing in on him, so he gets the kick away and kicks right down the wing. And it's a good mark as Schultz rises and takes it at the highest point of the footy. Holds the mark, plays on quickly and moves it across to Elliott. Now the Pies can move it quickly, although Elliott puts his hand out as if to slow it down, as there wasn't much ahead of him. And in the end, he goes laterally to find Houston, who's about 70 metres out from the Pies' goal.
Houston to Pendlebury, who takes the mark in front of Archie, releases Perryman on the run from 48, fires on goal and misses to the left-hand side. Just Collingwood's 4th inside 50 for this third quarter. Adelaide have had 13 and booted 6 goals, 4 from it. Adelaide leading by 36 points.
Just Collingwood, they've only had the 16 disposals in this third term. It's Adelaide's 43. It's almost like the refresh hasn't worked on the upload there, but just can't get their hands on the footy.
So it is 21 minutes played in the third quarter as well, as Fogarty pushes the kick away, trying to get it around the members' wing. It was smothered away by Perryman, and we'll have a throw in between wing and half forward for the Crows, kicking towards that city end of the MCG.
I might have dudded you there, Murph. That might be just in the forward half. So
hang on.
Who's been playing with the computer?
I'm questioning myself, Clinchy.
That was me. But it's only 14 disposals for Collingwood in the forward half.
The ball is tossed in. Still side bottom, trying to gather it. He's got some close attention from Berry, and in the end, Berry held side bottom without the footy. And the Collingwood veteran, 2-time premiership player, will get the free kick and chooses to hand pass it across to McStay, who pushes the kick to a hot spot inside 50. And again, it is the Adelaide defenders that win out. It's Bondo's kick isn't very good. It puts his teammate in lead in all sorts of trouble as Schultz dives on top of him. And it will be at least a stoppage inside the forward 50 for the Pies, about 40 metres out from goal. It's Adelaide ahead by 36 points after they led by just 3 at half-time.
Thrown up, McStay doing the ruck work. As it's one down in the end by Lachlan McAndrew, and the ball is stuck underneath a couple of players as Long slowly gets to his feet with Bond there in tow. Umpire throws it aloft once more. This time McAndrew takes it out of the ruck. Clearing kick for Adelaide up towards Walker and Frampton. Bumped off it. Perryman gathers at the back. Hand pass to Dacos. Breaks the Keys tackle. Got it to Perryman to Goey. Tries to do likewise for the Neil Bullen tackle. Had to just throw a hand pass forward. Picked off by Cook of Adelaide. Hand pass to Rochelle. To McAndrew across half back to Laird. Links up with Worrell. Not a great hand pass. Neil Bullen now. Tackled by Crisp. And the umpire will ball it up.
Good pressure. Well done by Collingwood. You thought Adelaide there, they had 4 or 5 slick handballs in a row, but Collingwood still kept pressing.
23 minutes ticked over in the third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport MCG. It's Crisp who can take it out from the stoppage and just kick it towards right half forward. It was towards Membry, who in the end tripped over. Hand passes it across to Nick Dacos, who darts left and right and moves his way into some space to chip it across to side bottom. Centre half forward still, side bottom with the football.
Well, we saw him kick a goal from here a couple of years ago in a grand final.
2023 grand final.
Deep in the last quarter, wasn't it, Clinchy?
Yeah.
So he's certainly got in his leg, even though he's getting on in age, but he'll just creep along to the right a little bit, or he'll pop one up here.
So the 35-year-old, has he got the distance? In the end, he doesn't go for it, and he does pop it to the top of the goal square. Ball spills to ground. Schultz is in the end of it. Schultz snaps, and Schultz goes. And he'll keep Collingwood in this one late in the third quarter. The margin cut back now to 5 goals, Adelaide's advantage. The visiting side ahead in their first game of the season, 11-9 at 75. It's Adelaide still ahead of Collingwood, 6-9, 45. 24 minutes played in this third term. And Schultz joins Steele as one of the only 2 Collingwood goal kickers for this third term. Well, it's been 6 goals to the Crows to allow them to have this 30-point lead.
Sometimes we overcomplicate this game a little bit. Let's get the ball to the top of the goal square and get a great contest from Jamie Elliott and the other Collingwood player down there. I think it was Membry. Bring the ball to the front of the pack, get the small players there hitting the pack hard like Schultz did, and you get yourself a goal. So really good kick there by Steele side bottom, who gave the players room to actually crumb.
Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. 5th individual goal kicker for the Pies. Steele tries to get a hand pass forward for Collingwood from the centre clearance. Chopped off by Cook. Kicks up towards half forward. Brought down by Keys. Working onto it, Houston for Collingwood. Hand pass away to Crisp. Links up with Long. Gives the hand pass back to Perryman. Outer wing on the Shane Warne stand side. Looks up. 2-on-1 against McCreary. Had to make the spoil. With Bond in front. Cleaned up by Jordan Dawson. Gets the hand pass back to Bond. Chips it inside the defensive 50. And McAndrew takes the mark. In the left back pocket. In fact, it's Max Michaelani who takes the mark in the left back pocket. With that right knee heavily strapped. Sends a kick up the wing towards Thilthorpe, who works his way to the front against Billy Frampton. Takes the mark, had the footy knocked out of his hand as well, and will get a 50-metre penalty. And Thilthorpe streaming forward. He'll get to about 55 metres out. Tex Walker wants it deep, sends it in that direction. Great vision. And Maynard got back. Tex takes no time, steps out to his left, snaps it, and misses. He says to the umpire, I didn't think I was getting paid the mark, so I played on. And the umpire says, well, you played on. Yeah, Adelaide by 31 points.
Oh, he definitely dropped it, I thought. That's why he played on.
So Quainer brings the footy in, kicks it outside a defensive 50 to Beau McCreary, who'll mark and put it right down the outer wing. And Crisp running back, takes the mark, pushes it down towards side bottom, who's part of the chain again, sends a little elbow out the back as well, and he's reversed the free kick. So he took the mark, then he elbowed Bond, and he did turn back and apologise, to be fair, Steele. Oh, it was a little whack on the side. I'm not sure that was worth a reversal. I don't know what you think, Berkey, Murph, but it is an Adelaide free kick. It'll be turned back around the other way, though, as McStay marks at centre half forward. The umpire had to get out of the way. McStay goes inside 50. Michaelani's there to collect, gather, weave his way through a couple of Collingwood attackers, and then put the kick out towards centre wing. Was looking for Cook, couldn't gather. Michaelini has to go in, help out again and do the tackling. And he tackles Parker to the ground, and now we'll have a ball up on the broadcast side of the ground after a little bit of mayhem in the last 45 seconds or so, Clinchy.
Well, they responded here, the Pies, and the crowd's getting involved.
They needed something to try and spark him. Berry tries to break his way through. He's tackled and brought down by Steele. And Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, the Pies fans are up and off their plastic after that 50 metres and the reversal. They haven't been happy with the umpiring in the last 60 seconds.
6 goals to 2. Adelaide's way in this third quarter. They lead by 31 points, having led by 3 at half-time. Matt Clinch and Lauren Bordin and Cohen down on the boundary. Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke, your experts. Nick Dacos taken high by Berry. And the Collingwood fans lean forward out of their chair below us in the Olympic stand and they give the umpire a round of applause. Dacos veers to the right. Buller comes out on the lead. Coming the other direction was Isaac Cumming. Made the spoil. Spills out the way of Keys. Tackled by McCreary. Didn't have the footy. And he'll get a free kick as tempers are just boiling a little here between both sides. And the Collingwood faithful are starting to get passionate.
Oh, you can hear them tonight at the MCG. It comes to Laird. He's holding on to the footy. Centre half back for Adelaide. He here's it out wide to a pack that'll form centre wing. Jordan Dawson had front position. In the end, Perryman beat him to it. He grabbed it, hand passed it to Parker. Hand passes it away to Steele, who's got the footy very close to the boundary line. Weaves around to put the ball on his left boot and kick it to half forward. It'll ricochet backwards towards Nick Dacos, who can pick it up. Hand pass to Perryman. Hand passes it across to McCreary, who flicks it over the top of his head to side bottom, who's back involved in this chain. He snaps it and chips it towards Schultz. Had front position, wanted the free kick, didn't get it from the umpire. Cumming picked it up, kicked it, was smothered. And the ball goes out of bounds. It will be a throw-in inside, forward 50 for Collingwood, trailing by 31 points late in this third term, the MCG.
Shake of the head from Lockie Schultz. They're getting frustrated, as is their supporters. McAndrew takes it out of the ruck against Cameron, sends it up the wing. Crashing through was Pedler. He brought down his own teammate in Thilthorpe. Quainer inside 50, down low for Cameron. Sliding into the right forward pocket, takes the mark for the Magpies.
Well, they've wrestled the game back on their terms at the moment. The Pies, they just need to make this one count and get some reward for effort, because the crowd's certainly involved. They feel like they're getting dudded. So Cameron needs to go back here and put this one through and just get that reward for effort for all their hard work over the past 3 or 4 minutes.
Approaching three-quarter time. Cameron, the best and fairest winner for last season, hard against the boundary in the right forward pocket. Comes in. Can he thread the needle? No, he can't. Misses to the right-hand side. And a minor score. Adelaide lead by 29 points. Approaching three-quarter time. While the SCG, Errol Goulden, has been taken from the ground with his shoulder in a sling now after a Lincoln McCarthy tackle. So that's going to be concerning for the Sydney Swans. They're leading comfortably over the Brisbane Lions there by 43 points in the final term.
And Miller removes the footy to Isaac Cumming in the left back pocket. He kicks it outside of defensive 50. And there's a bit of frustration from the Collingwood fans as the siren sounds to mark three-quarter time here at the G. It is Adelaide ahead by 30 points. So they kicked 6 of the 8 goals in that third quarter to extend their lead from what was just 3 points at half-time into now a 5-goal lead at the final change here. It's the Crows 11-10-76, the Pies 6-10-46. The goal kickers so far tonight, Riley Thilthorpe has 3, including 2 in that third quarter. Isaac Cumming with a couple as well. And then it's singles to Josh Rochelle, Luke Pedler, Jake Saligo, Braden Cook, Alex Neil-Bullen and Darcy Fogarty. And on the Collingwood side of things, Roan Steele has a couple for the Pies, Nick Dacos, Beau McCreary, Jack Crisp and Lockie Schultz, each with singles. But at three-quarter time, it is Adelaide ahead by 30 points.
And just repeating at the SCG, it's Sydney by 43 points, 15-12, 102 to the Lions, 8-11-59. We're 21 minutes into the final term. Joel Amati has 5, 2 goals to Heaney, Logan McDonald and to McInerney, while for the Lions, 2 goals to Charlie Cameron and to Bruce Reveal. The Swans looking to start their season 2 wins and 0 losses, while for the Lions they'll be 0-2. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
There's lyrics in here that I don't want anybody to ever see.
Creative Types is back for a new season with me, Virginia Trioli.
A ridiculous amount of fun. Fantastic.
Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
And Keys takes the mark. He's 45 metres out from home, which you think is well beyond him. Hang on, he's giving it off Murph on the run. Coming from 50, sets it through for his second. Good option in the end. Handbuster Peatling kicks out wider still to Cook at right half forward. Still not inside 50. And still thought running back to the goal square. Veers out to the right. He might go himself from 50 on the run. Great finish. McStay has it for Collingwood. He gets the hand pass away. Ed Allen takes a bounce, streaming forward. Links up with McCreary. Arms up. He looks to switch it inside 50. No, he gives the hand pass in the end to Steele. Inside 50 from 45. On the run. Puts through his second. The 24-year-old didn't Collingwood need that. Michael Annie sends Adelaide through the middle of the ground. Good kick finds Neil Bullen. Looks up, has a player inside 50. It's over Saligo's head and Philthorpe leads out and takes the mark on his chest. Riley Philthorpe has 2 already tonight. He comes in from 45 metres out and he marks down his third. Adelaide take it back through Neil Bullen. Handbuster coming. Hard against the boundary line. Keys into the pocket for Pedlar. He starts against the boundary in the left forward pocket. For a 6th goal for Adelaide in this third term. He comes in and threads the needle. When you are hot, you're hot. And the Crows are feeling it at the moment. They're swinging from the hip and they might knock Collingwood out in this third quarter. 35-year-old, has he got the distance? In the end, he doesn't go for it. He does pop it to the top of the goal square. Ball spills to ground. Schultz is in the end of it. Schultz snaps and Schultz goals. And he'll keep Collingwood in this one late in the third quarter.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Adelaide with 6 of the last 8 goals of the match and they lead by 30 points at three-quarter time after leading by 14 points at quarter time and 3 points at half-time. A couple of lead changes in the second quarter, but it's been the Crows since half-time who have taken control. Matt Clinch and Lauren Bordin calling the action. Ian Cohen down on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts. Nathan Burke alongside Mark Murphy.
Just comprehensive then by the Crows. That was back to their best from last year. We thought they were a little bit scratchy in that first half. They started off the game quite well, the Crows, but from that point on up until half-time, it was really all of Collingwood. But sort of made mention during that third term, you've got to make the most of the momentum on the scoreboard when you've got it in this game at the moment, and that's exactly what Adelaide were able to do then. But then that last 5 or 6 minutes, you start to feel that Collingwood starting to get their pressure game up and going, started to win some contested ball, and the crowd started to get involved, although on the back of a few probably non-calls or decisions that the umpire made. But we know that Collingwood will keep on coming, so it's a really important first 4 or 5 minutes here for Adelaide really to put the foot in the throat and put some scoreboard pressure back on them. But Collingwood we just know they'll keep on having a crack to go through the corridor, play on at all risk. So it's going to be an exciting last term.
It will be. They've got to try and win this game. So just sort of chipping the ball around backwards and sideways, not going to do it for them. So hopefully they can see some risk taken through the middle. What we saw the difference in that quarter was a little bit better composure from both teams sort of going inside 50. I think the Crows probably won that battle, managed to find some free targets early, and I think Tex Walker, first time it went inside 50, he hit Michelle, he missed that goal, but just that bit of composure, finding a player inside 50, really set the scene for the Crows for the next 15 minutes or so, who were really good at that. But Collingwood, I'm just not sure where's the multiple goals going to come from. So if I'm Craig McRae, I'm saying, radio, Nick Dacos, Josh, you get down there as much as you can. Steele side bottom. I want you playing a front half game. Jordan De Goey really hasn't looked like troubling the scoreboard at any stage today. So you guys, less of this sort of getting behind the footy. I want you to play a front half game. We need to lock that ball in our front half, because taking it from one end of the ground to the other is too hard. So you smaller players, we need you to get on the scoreboard if we're going to win this game. And it's great to see Nick Dacos starting in the forward line for the Pies in this last quarter.
Do you think he stays there in the forward line? Or do you think he's going to come up and go through the middle and just try and rush back towards goal?
What I don't want to see him losing his player by getting up to the half-back line. So he can come up to the middle, but that's as far as he needs to be.
Final quarter underway, Adelaide by 30 points. McAndrew and Cameron. Cameron wins down the tap, but Dawson roves it, kicks out to the wing, where Cummings gathers for the Crows. Yep, up inside 50 with a kick. Walker brought it down at ground level. Rochelle hit it with speed. Tackled by Maynard, loses possession. Houston gathers for Collingwood. Hand pass to Josh Dacos. 1-2 with Quainer. Josh Dacos at left half back. Kicks into the, great something, the Shane Warne stand side, looking for Jack Crisp, but it's cut off in the end, as Worrell takes the intercepting mark for the Crows.
Worrell at centre wing, Thompson on his left boot to go back inside 50 for the Crows. Cameron at the back, it was touch, still gathered the footy and could get a kick away towards Nick Dacos, who finds his way through some Crows players. The umpire's found a free and pays the advantage. Lipinski has it, hand passes it to Josh Dacos, hand passes it across to Houston, who hand passes it to Nick Dacos. Streaming through the middle of the MCG, takes a bounce and he kicks it across to Elliott, who grabs the footy on the half volley just outside of attacking 50. He turns, spins and puts it on the chest of a Lockie Schultz.
Well, those are the players you want involved with ball in hand. If you're a Collingwood supporter, you want Nick Dacos running through the middle of the ground. You want Jamie Elliott getting involved. And then Lockie Schultz was really good in that third term. He was probably a bit stiff not to get a couple of free kicks, but he's the one who looks pretty dangerous deeper as a forward. So those are the guys you want involved at the moment if you're a Pies supporter.
Lockie Schultz, 45-degree angle, 25 metres out from goal for his second. This one never looked like missing. And Lockie Schultz tries to spark something for the Pies in this final term. The lead's cut back to 24 points, the Crows' advantage. And it's Adelaide 11-10-76, Collingwood 7-10-52. Just 2 minutes played in this final term.
And that's where I don't mind Nick Dacos coming up. So he comes up to the middle of the ground, gets a footy, runs, kicks the ball inside 50. It wasn't a great kick. It was landed at Elliott's feet, but he was good enough to pick it up one grab and then find Lockie Schultz. So, but that's going to open the game up. That's going to give those blokes inside 50 confidence to lead and to lead hard, because it's a fair chance he's going to either hit them or put the ball in a position where they can still win it. So good coaching there by Craig McRae. It's an attacking move to put Nick Dacos forward.
Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Adelaide fans know their recent history. The Pies can come flying home. McAndrew one down the tap, but Cameron soccers it off the ground. Up to half forward, McCreary over around the footy. Gathered by Cumming. Look away, hand pass over his shoulder to Laird. Links up with Saligo. Runs the Shane Warne stand side. Looks up to half forward. Kick up towards Walker and Maynard. Maynard in front made the spoil. Got it down to Houston. Hand pass away to Chris. Lipinski almost too slow. Tackled by Cumming. Ball spills clear. Josh Dacos keeps it going for Collingwood. Hand pass to Houston. Cutting through the middle of the ground. Kicks a searching ball looking for Steele. Cook cannons into him. Brought it down at ground level. Peatling comes racing in. Cook, Steele had another go at it, trying to knock it back to Peatling, but it's a good second effort by Cook. Gets it forward, where Peatling lays the tackle on Houston. Steele has a third involvement. Hand pass to Quainer. He has a fumble. Tries to slap it away from Walker, who uses his body to block out Steele. Over the top now comes a couple of players, Quainer and Steele, and it's locked underneath Cook, and the umpire will ball it up. Not all that pretty, that passage of play.
Looked like it was almost a bit dewy out there on the MCG tonight. No one could pick it up as the ball's tossed up. Saligo runs in after it, takes the ball, and then is happy to be pushed over the line by Steele. No, just keeps it in play. Just can hand pass it across to Rochelle, who kicks inside 50, punched away by Frampton as he was falling. It just falls into the path of Peatling, who snaps. Misses to the right-hand side. A behind for the Crows. It means they're now 25 points in front, though. 11-11-77 plays Collingwood 7-10-52. Just 4 minutes ticking over in this final term.
It's Collingwood through Houston. Not a great kick for Maynard. They do clean it up around Neil Bullen and Archie. And back to Houston, who kicks to the back pocket and side bottom marks. Still side bottom game, 356 for him tonight. Moves into the top 20 of all-time games played. To Crisp at half back. We'll give it back to side bottom. At left half back into the middle of the ground for Pendlebury. He surpasses Michael Tuck tonight. Short to Josh Dacos. Just an up and under kick looking for Schultz. He flies in front of Keys. brings it down at ground level. Ed Allen races after it, picks it up for Collingwood. Hand pass to Cameron, trying to sidestep McAndrew. Laid the tackle, ball spills clear. Knocked out in the end by Walker, working across half back. He's now tackled by Darcy Cameron, too high. Free kick going Adelaide's way at half back.
Tex Walker will have the free for the Crows. Kicks it out wide towards Rochelle. He'll mark just slightly behind from Collingwood's bench in the defensive half for the Crows. Kicked it across to Laird, who turned it over to Josh Dacos. Hand passed across to Pendlebury. He was in a little bit of trouble, turning left and right. Hand pass back to Josh Dacos. It's a good-looking kick from Josh. It's up McCreary, 45 metres out from goal, and he'll just dab it across to Elliott, well weighted. And Jamie Elliott's there on the end of it. He'll mark, and he'll have a set shot in front of goal from about 35 metres out, and about a 45-degree angle as well.
Good composure there by Collingwood. The pressure's certainly risen in this last quarter. Which team's going to be cleaner by hand and foot? But right then it was Collingwood being patient, just waiting for the right opportunity.
This is the scoring end. The Pies have kicked the last 2 goals of the match. Jamie Elliott makes it 3. And the Pies are within 19 points now in this final term. They're pushing to try and build this one into another close one between these two sides at the G. It is Collingwood 8-10-58, Adelaide 11-11-77. The margin now 19 points to the advantage of the Crows at 6.5 minutes played in this final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke.
Rory Laird hasn't done many worse kicks than that in his career. Normally very secure coming off that half-back line, but turned it straight over. Missed his 2 players, hit a Collingwood player, and then they're off because all of the Crows players had faith in him to actually hit a target, so they were moving down the ground. When he turned it over, back they went, and Collingwood had the 3 players.
Just 4 disposals and a goal for Jamie Elliott tonight, but Collingwood have booted the last 3 goals. Cameron got it down in the middle of the ground. Clearing kick to half forward. No mark claimed. As it's dealt with by Bond as he's tackled by Lockie Schultz. As Cameron got it to half forward. Thrown up 50 out from the Magpies goal. McAndrew wins down the tap. Elliott on the move. Murray gathers. That's Nick Murray. Broke away from the Membry tackle. Hand pass back to Worrell. Clearing kick up towards half back. Pedler flies. Cameron the other way. And Darcy Cameron takes the mark for Collingwood. Has Ed Allen at right half forward. He plays on inside 50. Starts it right. Goes for goal. Can't bend it back enough. The minor score. Adelaide's lead is 18 points. So we tick past 8 minutes gone in the final term.
Millero with kicking duties. Footy, the end of the MCG to give Adelaide a little more breathing space. He does kick it outside of defensive 50 where Walker marks, chips it towards Dawson. Former captain and the current captain combining. Hand passes it to Millero, who's run all the way back from the defensive goal square to move the footy to Michael Annie. Hand passes it away to Tex Walker in the centre of the MCG. Puts the kick inside 50. The mark is dropped in the end by McAndrew, the ruck. We couldn't hold on to it, and in the end it's Collingwood who might be able to move it outside of 50 here. They get it across to centre wing. To go in a fight for the footy with Nick Murray. It's Murray who wins out, hand passes it to Archie's. Hand pass doesn't hit Neil Bullen. Steele Sidebottom gets himself involved, as does Crisp, and in the end they work the footy outside of the boundary for a throw-in. Still at centre half forward for the Crows. They're leading by 18 points, but it has been the Pies who have kicked the last 3 goals in the match.
Making a lot of errors at the moment, the Crows. Just referred pressure.
Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Berry in the end goes up in the ruck. Competed well, and then later tackle on Ed Allen. Allen just slaps it away from the congestion up to the wing. And Lockie Schultz's hand pass misses Nick Dacos. Last touch. Lasso free kick will go the way of the Crows and Wayne Millera.
It's a nice pick up by Lockie Schultz, but just the handball just a little bit missing for Nick Dacos.
Adelaide need a steadier all of a sudden just to try and put Collingwood back in their place. Inside 50 in the target of Toby Murray. Can't take the mark. Long competes forward at ground level. Saligo tries to get a hand pass to Keys through congestion. Spills off side bottom. Neil Bullen off the outside of the boot. Got it to the top of the goal square. Perryman's hand pass for Collingwood out of defence. Up towards Ed Allen. Kicks up towards the wing. sliding in. Miller should have been taken high against Schultz, no whistle. Dawson got a hand pass back to Miller, cuts around the long tackle, hand pass to Peatling, kicks up to Toby Murray, can't take the mark at his fingertips, he couldn't reel it in. Walker gets it to Perry, high kick into the pocket. Thilthorpe, Neil Pullen, they're all there, neither went for it in the end. Neil Pullen against the boundary, dribbles across his body, and a lunging effort from Parker rushes it through for a minor score for Adelaide. The Crows leading by 20 points.
There's nothing that's really been pretty about the last few minutes of play, but Adelaide just managing to hold on as Lipinski receives the footy at left half back, kicks down the line. That outer wing that Collingwood have favoured all night, and chips it towards McCreery, marks. He moves it forward by foot across to Quaynor, who goes inside 50 into the left forward pocket. Membry was there, had enough of it, and was taken high as well. And it's the free kick that will be paid against Hugh Bond. And Tim Membry will have his shot to light up with a set shot for Collingwood and just keep them in this fourth term where they've managed to work their way back into the contest.
They have. It's been purely just off work rate. So just prepared to run. Quaynor was the one that really stood out there, who usually playing along that halfback flank, who just spread hard forward and delivered that nicely to Membry.
32 goals last season. His first as a Magpie. To get his first for this season at a time when his side desperately needs it. He kicks it across the face of the goal. So just another behind for Collingwood. It dwindles, or it brings back that margin to the 3 straight goals. Collingwood 60, Adelaide 78, 11 minutes played in the final term on ABC Sport.
He's disappointing, that kick. He's better than that, Tim Membry.
Nick Murray to Michael Annie in the back pocket, kicks up towards McAndrew. Can't take the mark. Saligo through traffic. Tackle brought down, no whistle. Collingwood take it at half forward. Steele with a centering ball in the direction of Membry against 3. He juggles the mark. Tim Membry just jumped vertically, has that awkward off both feet, but was able to control the mark. And 3 Adelaide defenders were back there, but they couldn't get a fist to it.
Big contested mark. 1 against 3. As you said, Clinchy, the unorthodox double jump almost off both feet, but what an important kick this is. He's usually very good from 30 to 40 out. Missed the last one. So important, this kick.
Like so many of the Collingwood forwards, a quiet night. 2 disposals, 1 behind. Membry to continue the charge for Collingwood from 45 out. You hear the response. The Magpies with the last 3 goals of the match in this final term. The last 4 overall. And Adelaide's lead is cut back to 12 points. We know the storyline. 7 of the past 9 have been 10 points or less. 6 of the last matches between these two sides have been under a goal. Adelaide leading by 12 points in front of 62,482 fans. The Crows 11-12-78. The Magpies 9-12-66.
Look, at uncontested marks is really telling the tale of the tape, because Collingwood had their best period of the game in that second quarter, the start of the second quarter. They dominated uncontested marks. Again, this quarter it's 13-5 in favour of the Pies. For the rest of the game, it has been Adelaide dominating that area of the game. So stop them kicking the ball around and you're a chance.
2 goals in it now. It was 5 at 3-quarter time. Adelaide's advantage. Pendlebury with a clearance. Hand pass to Dacos. Nick, that is, takes a bounce and kicks it into the left forward pocket. Just past to Goey, who wanted the free kick for a hold. Doesn't get it, but it will be a throw-in right in the hot spot for Collingwood. The boundary umpire will stand about 5 metres around from that left behind post. Looking towards the Ponsford stand end, the MCG, where most of the scoring has been in this match. The ball's tossed in. It's cleared away by Rochelle, who just shoves it on his boot to get some distance away for Adelaide, and it works as Tex Walker marks about 60 metres out from defensive goal, and he'll receive a 50 as well.
So that was on Perriman, who was on the mark and then just ran off. So he can't do that anymore.
Players streaming forward, Pedler deep. Thilthorpe central, and Fogarty into the pocket, and it's the latter, Darcy Fogarty, who takes the mark in the right forward pocket. He's 40 metres out from goal. Had the mismatch on Parker, and a chance to go back and try and boot through his 3rd goal.
They're so important, those big contested marks. We saw Membry have a huge one before. inside 50 and go back and kick the goal. On that occasion, it was Tex Walker who just a dump D50 kick, and just so important to have those big keys who can take that big mark.
One goal, I should say, for Fogarty in the right forward pocket. Adelaide looking for a steadier, and Darcy Fogarty delivers it. Great composure. Despite Collingwood putting the last 4 goals in the match, Adelaide gets something to try and just calm the nerves. An 18-point lead the Crows' way, having led by 30 points at three-quarter time. 12-12-84 to the Magpies, 9-12-66. Darcy Fogarty with his second, Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, there was some concern for Josh Worrell. The Adelaide doctor's been out in that back half. He crashed heavily to the ground after that marking contest in the forward 50 for Collingwood, but he's trying to give them thumbs up. They're not quite going away yet, but they appear to be doing so now.
Yeah, it's a big penalty, those men on the mark infringements. I made that comment the other night on Thursday night. It was Perryman wasn't really in the contest with Tex Walker. He was just in the vicinity, and the umpires told him to stand, and he's just run off. But there's not a lot in it, is there? It's such a big penalty to take.
Now it means that the Crows have a little breathing space with this 3-goal buffer as Berry grabs it from the middle and puts it on his boot, and it's right to the chest of Thilthorpe, who's at half forward for the Crows. He kicks inside 50, hoping for a mark to come from Keys, who had back position though. Pendlebury's there to gather, hand pass it away towards Roaring Steele, who's chasing after it, paddles it to himself, picks it up, hand passes it to Quaynor, hand passes it across to Parker, and Steele's kept running. He's got to track it along the boundary line, picks it up, and then will kick it forward. He was looking for Schultz, it just missed him a little, but there will be a free kick. And it is going the way of Schultz. So it might have been a last touch rule, might have come off a boot there of a Crows player as Schultz takes his free kick right inside 50 to the left forward pocket, and in the end it just bobbles its way through for a minor score. So 17 points Adelaide's lead. Pretty rushed now from Collingwood. 16 minutes gone though in the final term, so still a little bit of time for Collingwood to work down this buffer. It's currently 17 points the Crows' advantage.
Swans defeated Brisbane by 44 points, brought back into play, gathered by Houston, hand pass chopped off by Darcy Fogarty at half back, sends it up the wing, back with the flight. Billy Frampton juggles the mark, no, dropped it at the end, has to quickly get a hand pass back to Parker. Collingwood across half back, hand pass inboard to Perryman, now to the run of Houston, looks up, Nick Dacos leads at him, he marks on the members wing. De Goey's in the pocket. He sends in that direction over his head and Miller as well. Not dealt with by Worrell. Brought down De Goey, no whistle. Laird knocks it clear. Got it to Cook's advantage. Hand pass to Miller in the back pocket. To Worrell. Back to Miller. Got round a couple of Collingwood defenders. Kicks a high ball to half-back. Brought down by Houston and McAndrew. Quick kick out towards the boundary line for the Crows. Running onto it, Peatling. Gets a hand pass along the turf to Keys. Tackled by Perryman. Hand pass missed the target. Lipinski for Collingwood takes it back. Hand pass to Quaynor. Kicks to a stationary Josh Dacos. It's over his head. De Goey can't gather. Hand pass back to Worrell for the Crows. And now Nick Murray with a chance to try and clear.
Just chips it out towards Berry, who's happy to steady here in defensive 50 for the Crows. It's another standing rule, and it's another 50-metre penalty that Berry will be the recipient of here.
Same one again, the player thought he was outside 5, kept moving, but the umpire said, no, you're inside 5 and you have to stand.
So Berry is marched into the centre of the MCG. He flares it out towards Millerer, who then goes wider still and hits up Bond, who's between wing and half forward for the Crows, now ahead by 17 points. Later stages of this fourth term, inside 50 he goes. Fogarty's on his hands and knees on the turf, trying to do something with the footy, pushes it out wide. Keys is there, gets the footy, has a snap at goal. This time it's his chance from the pocket. And Keys goals, salutes the Adelaide Crows cheer squad. A wonderful finish from him, involved in that passage of play a couple of times. And Keys all but makes sure that Adelaide will be walking away from the MCG with a rare win against the Pies. 13-12-90 Adelaide, Collingwood 9-13-67. 19 minutes have passed in this final term. The Crows ahead by 23.
The Pies look like they fired their shot in the first 15 minutes of this quarter and just starting to look a little bit tired now. The chasing's not quite there. Looks a little bit lethargic and didn't quite get where they wanted to with their big push. And now I think the Crows are probably going to finish off.
Here comes the 9th individual goal kicker, Ben Keys. Adelaide out by 23 points after Collingwood got back within 12 points. Cameron and McAndrew in the middle of the ground. Cameron got it down. Pendlebury on the move. Can't gather. Berry picks it up for the Crows. Hand pass to McAndrew. Around the back to Laird. Looks out to the far wing. Cook takes the mark. Not 15. Chips it out wider still. And Keys is working up the ground. And takes the mark for the Crows. Adelaide 13-12-90. Collingwood 9-13-67 in front of 62,482 fans. As Keys sends it long inside 50. It's over the head of Pedler. And Dan Houston takes the mark for Collingwood. As the Crows clear the area. Chips it just further afield, 15 metres to Maynard. He rolls the dice through the middle of the ground looking for Crisp. Great work. Peatling worked his way to the front and controls the mark for the Adelaide Crows.
There's a nice contested mark in the end. Crisp had probably the A1 spot, but it was well done to work his body and to get that contested mark.
Peatling kicks across to Millerup, who comes up for his 34th disposal of the match so far. Kicks it across to Laird, who then chips out to right half forward. Here's Keys with the ball. He'll go into the hot spot inside the right forward pocket. Ball falls to the back of the pack. Pendlebury's there to mop up and hand pass across to Quainer, who puts it on his boot to get some distance away from the goal face. McCreary's there. He's in a battle with Butts. Takes the footy. Butts tackles him. Just gets a disposal away. Dawson goes in after it, and then he puts his head over the footy and is taken slightly high by Houston. And the Crows captain will win the free kick right at centre wing. He's side ahead by 23 points. 21 minutes played in this final term.
Dawson looks out to half forward. Cumming is in space. Has kicked 2 goals tonight. 3 goals for Riley Thilthorpe. Couple for Darcy Fogarty. Cumming veers out to the right, to the punt road end. Tex Walker sets himself. Frampton in front. Frampton had a big piece of it, not paid the mark. Spills out the way of Rochelle. He's stripped of it in the tackle. Parker gets a hand pass out of the congestion. Fogarty can't take it. Neil Bullen back to Cumming. Off a step, chips it to the goal square, and Darcy Cameron takes the mark for Collingwood over Keys. Hand pass away to Maynard. Almost brought down by Fogarty. Still a chance here for Adelaide. Big tackle from Berry on Parker. Holding the ball. And Sam Berry wins a free kick for Adelaide. 40 metres out directly in front.
Just didn't have much of an opportunity to try and get rid of that. He probably took a step and a half. But the umpire was pretty hot on him there. But that's just due to the fact that Collingwood are just trying to just run and gun and score as quickly as they can. They're in that mode now where they're going to try and win it. They need to go quick and
take some risks.
Unfortunately for their sake, they bit off a bit more than they can chew then.
That was one of those ones where even though you don't have prior, you've got to do the convulsing fish on the ground to pretend that you're getting rid of it.
22-minute mark of the final term. Sam Berry looking to put the finishing touches on. He runs in and misses to the left-hand side. And a minor score. Adelaide leading by 24 points. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, I said there was concern for Josh Worrell earlier. He's now been taken off and chatting with the medicos. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Thanks, Kozer. He's been impressive tonight as Collingwood move the footy right through the corridor until Pendlebury flares it out towards Quainer, who chips inside 50, and Elliott will mark in the right forward pocket for Collingwood. Skips back to his mark. He knows there's not a lot of time on the clock. His side down by 4 goals, 23 minutes into this final term. Won their opening round contest against St Kilda in front of about 82,000. Now down against Adelaide in front of 62,000 the MCG tonight. As Elliott skips in, kicks towards goal. It looks good off his boot. And he's got it, Jamie Elliott. Puts through his second of the match and of this quarter. It might be a bridge too far now for Collingwood, but they are trailing by just 18 points. Collingwood 10-13-73, Adelaide 13-13-90. 24 minutes played in the final term. It's Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Well, 3 goals, 3 minutes. Can be done, we've seen it.
They're going to need a lot to go their way if they're going to do that, but they're just going to get their half-backs going to take off the line here and almost try and fist pump this forward of the contest if Cameron can get his hand on it and get a Dacos on the end of it. There's 2 of them in there, Josh and Nick. So those are probably the 2 that are going to try and get out the front door here. Adelaide just need to just maintain the football here and just soak up some time.
Tough night for Collingwood forwards, limited supply. McAndrew out of the middle of the ground, tries to get it forward. Nick Dacos, little toe poke to his own advantage, slides in after the footy. Over the top of him comes Neil Bullen. Ball eventually comes clear. Houston lunging after it, can't knock it clear. Neil Bullen gets a hand pass forward. Thilthorpe over his shoulder, trying to link up with Neil Bullen. Frampton gets back, hand pass to Parker, knocked on to Josh Dacos from left half back for Collingwood. Kicks up towards Long, can't take the mark, good defending by Dawson. Gets it to Laird, hand pass away to Michael Annie, around the boundary line, on the bounce to Fogarty. He's tackled, as Maynard laid the tackle, dribble to kick up to Tex Walker. Hand pass to Cook, chips it inboard. Is that 15 to Neil Bullen? It's paid at right half forward as Jack Crisp crashes into him.
He's had a great game, Neil Bullen. Been really important as a half forward flanker for the Crows tonight.
A wonderful pickup for the Crows coming across last year. Melbourne Premiership player just chips it forward towards Cook, and he'll mark about 53 metres out from goal. It might just chew up a little bit of time here.
And Neil Bullen has been one of the few guys that's had really good composure kicking the ball inside 50.
So Braden Cook takes his 30 seconds and swings around on the mark. He'll have a shot at goal. It's a good kick, gets the distance, but doesn't get the accuracy. And that's another point to the Adelaide Crows total. They're up by 19 points, 26 minutes played in this final term at the MCG.
This is quickly brought back into play by Josh Dacos to half-back. Quayne up makes the spoil. Dawson's down. We'll keep an eye on that as Long kicks into the middle of the ground for Collingwood. Awkward bouncing ball from Membry. Knocks it on to McCreary. Edge of the centre square. Goes for home. Getting back Kalachi. Takes the mark just a couple of metres out from his defensive goal line. Trainers have gone out to Jordan Dawson, who's laying flat on his stomach. So get Koza to keep an eye on that. Archie out of defence, up towards half-back. Walker brought it down. Peatling, tackled by McCreary. And the umpire will ball it up at left half forward for the Magpies. Koza, Jordan Dawson seems to be okay. Might have gone to the rooms.
Yeah, he got one, just a knee in the back. So he's a little bit ginger there, but he's up now.
Inside 50, the Pies got a little chip kick off the ground in the end. A soccering kick will land in Schultz's arms. And he'll have a chance to kick a goal. No, he won't. He'll send it off. Hand pass to Nick Dacos, who kicks towards the sticks. And Nick Dacos goals off a step. He puts through his second. And it might just be too little too late, though, for the Pies. 13 points Adelaide's advantage is. 13-14-92 are the Crows. The Pies are 11-13-79. 27 minutes played in this final term. It's Adelaide ahead by 13, looking for a rare win at the MCG against these Pies.
Yeah, it's been an important one for the Adelaide Crows to come over here, which has been a long time between drinks from winning games of football. So, such a crucial game. Probably meant more to them to win tonight than what it did for Collingwood. Collingwood have probably too many out, especially their key defenders who are so important in terms of structuring them up. So good win by Adelaide. They've been challenged a few times tonight and really responded well.
As Darcy Cameron wins down the tap in the middle of the ground, taken by Peatling for the Crows. Kicks up towards half forward. Tex Walker trying to run onto it. Is there time for more for Adelaide? Gets a hand pass forward to Peatling. Neil Bullen lost his footing. Hand pass down low for Thilthorpe. Can't get it back for Tex. He's tackled by Perryman, dribbles it towards the goal mouth. Parker racing after it in the left back pocket, regathers, sends Collingwood out of defence, up towards half back, and Cook rises to take the mark. He can chip it out to Neil Bullen in the right forward pocket as the siren sounds. And after a torturous summer for the Crows, knocked out in straight sets after claiming the minor premiership, Adelaide start 2026 as winners, just the margin to be determined. Neil Bullen has it in the right forward pocket, 45 metres out from goal. The Magpies kicked 5 goals in the final term, but there will be no comeback this time. As Neil Bullen comes in, just the final margin to be decided. It's across the face and a minor score. Adelaide prevail by 14 points for their first win over Collingwood at the MCG in a decade.
The story will be told as we fight the rugged battle. see us through. Our commitment never grows. We're the pride of South Australia. We're the mighty Adelaide Crows. Yes, the pride of South Australia. We're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
Adelaide 13-15-93 defeat Collingwood 11-13-79 in front of 62,482 fans. The Crows led by 14 points at quarter time. A couple of changes of the lead in the second quarter before the Crows led by 3 points at half-time. Darcy Fogarty kicking a goal after the half-time siren. Adelaide were dominant in the third term, kicking 6 goals to 2 and led by 30 points at three-quarter time. The Magpies booted the first 3 goals of the final term to get back within 12 points, but Adelaide answered with the next 2. And despite Collingwood kicking the last 2 goals of the match, there would be no heroic comeback this time for the Magpies, and Adelaide claimed victory here at the MCG. After failing the test in the finals last year, losing to Collingwood and Hawthorn, they respond in the best way to start 2026 with a win against the Magpies, their first here against the Black and White at the MCG in a decade. The Crows by 14 points. Riley Thilthorpe booted 3 goals, 2 goals for Isaac Cumming, for Darcy Fogarty, while individuals for Keys, Rochelle, Saligo, Cook, Neil Bullen and Millera. While for the Magpies, 2 goals to Jamie Elliott, 2 goals to Lockie Schultz and 2 goals to Nick Dacos alongside Rowan Steele. Individuals to McCreary, Membury and Crisp. The Magpies go down by 14 points. They're 1-1. The Crows start their season with a win. The thoughts of Nathan Burke and Mark Murphy, your experts on ABC Sport.
I thought the Crows were very good tonight. You can't take anything away from Collingwood. I think they just had too many out tonight to really challenge the Crows. And they fought a couple of times throughout the night to try and wrestle back that momentum. That last quarter especially, they threw everything at the Crows in that first probably 8 to 9 minutes. The Crows held their own, responded really well and came back at them. But when the game got to the point where they needed a bit of polish, Adelaide, I think, had probably too many more contributors than what Collingwood did have on the night. So really important win for that football club after a really strong year last year. Their home and away season was terrific. Obviously fell short against the Pies and Hawthorn in that final series. So to come over to the MCG where they haven't had much luck over the past, what is it, 10 years, is it?
Yeah.
And walked away with the 4 points. Really important they come over tonight and get the job done.
I think the Crows will go home lighter because all the cobwebs have been shaken off them from a long summer, because that's nowhere near as good as the Crows can play.
They were clunky, weren't they, in that, especially that first half and that third term. But that third term started to really get going. But yeah, that first half they just looked a million miles off where they were last year. But they certainly got their game up and going.
Yeah, they did, and when they had the patches of looking really clean, that was when they scored and put out that stretch, particularly in the first part of that third quarter. They came out after half-time, whatever was said to them at half-time, really sort of straightened them up, got them a bit cleaner. To Collingwood's credit, they made the game dirty and ugly again, and they got the ascendancy back. I think it was about 11 all inside 50s and started off about 9-3 in that third quarter. So they got the game back the way that they wanted it to be played. But I think one of the big differences was that we know Collingwood like to have those short passes and kick the ball around. The Crows actually won the uncontested marks 109-89, so 20 ahead. And it was only when they allowed Collingwood to have that chip mark kick, maintain possession, have a little bit of time to be composed, that Collingwood looked dangerous. When the Crows decided to man up, cut out those short kicks, then they actually got ascendancy because they could maintain the ball with the short kicks on the way back the other way. So good coaching there by Nicks to identify one of the dangers of the Collingwood game plan and actually take it away and do better at that area of the game than what Collingwood did.
The Adelaide Crows head down to the Punt Road end to thank their travelling fans and their Melbourne-based Crows supporters who have come along tonight. 62,482 in at the MCG. Do you think it was important, Murph, that they were challenged in that final term? Collingwood got back within 12 points for the scars of the past, all those close finishes in which we made reference to between Collingwood and Adelaide. The Crows were able to respond and perhaps show some maturity from the off-season to be able to finish relatively strongly.
Yeah, it was important. I mean, the Pies were coming, weren't they? So the crowd was getting involved. You just felt like the momentum was just starting, not to be too much for them, but what they did, they started to get their hands back on the football, started to control the football again by uncontested mark and started to work the ball around again. And when Collingwood are at their best and the juggernaut is coming, a lot of sides do fall over. So for them to stand up here, especially at the MCG, first game of the year, to shake that off and come away with the 4 points, I'll be pretty happy jumping on the plane tomorrow morning.
As the Crows make their way from the MCG, I wonder if our content director Tim Verrill's there leaning over the fence, giving them a high five on the way out. For some of those Crows fans, it's been a long off-season after winning the minor premiership, their first time since 2017, returning to finals, but losing those two finals. It was a disappointing way to finish what had been a season of such progression. They start 2026 as winners as they look to climb the ladder once more. Ian Cohen's down in the Crows rooms as they make their way in past you. Kozer, I'm sure there's plenty of smiles.
Absolutely. I was expecting to see Tim in the rooms, actually, but there's plenty of mums and dads. We know that they travel pretty well and plenty of family support. So a very, very loud cheer. Matthew Nix is right in the middle. He's high-fiving all of his players as they make their way in, and a real feeling of jubilation and really having got one over an old enemy, and it's been a long time since they have done it. So it is high fives. We've got a couple of the debutants in the middle. So it looks like young Toby Calamar-Chi, obviously, and the big ruckman in Lockie as well, who put his best foot forward tonight and was pretty good. He's got the shin heavily strapped, so I would suggest a Gatorade shower is going to be certainly going their way. We're going to speak to Riley Philthorpe, who was the multiple goal kicker out there, and we'll chat to him. We're just working out whether it's before or after the team meeting, but they're forming up now, Clinchy, and we might be able to grab the Adelaide Crows song. Certainly the Gatorade shower has started before the song started. So everything is now absolutely saturated. They have hit the three debutantes with everything. Here we go with the Crows song. There we go, some big smiles, certainly some high fives, plenty of Gatorade. I feel like I'm now in a swimming pool, actually. It is covered in Gatorade at the moment, and we'll wait and see when we can have a chat to the multiple goal kicker out there, who is really important for them up forward, Big Riley.
Thank you to Ian Cohen down in the Crows rooms, winners by 14 points. You can almost hear the delight in the song and the joy for the Crows as they're able to break their duck here against the Magpies of the MCG and probably release a bit of that tension from the off-season. So some young players got their opportunity and made the most of it, and for the senior group, it's the start of hopefully the return to where finals footy is played.
Yeah, plenty of passion in that song. I looked at a few of the senior guys. Tex Walker stood out in that song. He was pretty pumped up. So they obviously went to work on Collingwood, knew how important it was to come out here tonight and win. They obviously got bit of a lesson in that final last year over there at the Adelaide Oval. So, yeah, as I said before, important start for that football club to come over to the MCG and get that win. You can see how much it meant to that football team then.
So Adelaide winners 13-15-93 to the Magpies 11-13-79, and Sydney defeating Brisbane by 44 points at the SCG 15-14 104 to the Lions 8-12-60. Pat's been in touch from Melbourne East on the SMS 0437 774 774. You guys keep saying Collingwood is depleted, only 2 injuries. That's fewer than any other club. More and how. It's the players, I guess, they're missing, and the young talent in which they're trying to bring on. A quick thought on the Pies tonight.
Yeah, I may mention that a couple of times, but mainly because Howe and Moore are probably 2 of their most important players, and they were undersized against a forward line who, in that first half, they weren't really, they were pretty clunky, weren't they, the Crows, but they got a hold of them in that second half, and Tex Walker got involved. He ended up having the 19 touches, but just did a few nice things with ball in hand and set up some other teammates. And obviously, Riley Thilthorpe kicked the 3 goals. So they were important in that third term when they were really up and going, their key targets. And a lot of the Collingwood chain starts from those intercept marks in the back line. So that's why I think those 2 players, Darcy Moore obviously being skipper of the football team, I think they're sorely after some experience out there. They've obviously got some other experience with Pendlebury and Sidebottom out there, but those 2 guys are instrumental in starting up a lot of their offensive chains.
I'm not sure whether McStay and Membry are going to be your 2 tall key forwards. I think
Hold fire, Berkey. We might come back to the Pies because I think the Adelaide Crows are ready for us. Winners by 14 points. Back down to Ian Cohen.
Yeah, thanks very much, Clinchy. The man that's kicked 3 goals, Riley Thilthorpe, is with us. And Riley, there was a lot of emotion in that song. It's been over a decade since you've beaten them here. That was a really important way to start your season.
Yeah, a great win. A great team effort. It means a lot to us. So we're pretty pumped to get a good win in round 1 and from here, look to round 2.
Was the history that Collingwood have had over you recently spoken about in the lead up to this match?
No, not really. We've had obviously a lot of close games lately, so we felt that if we play the way we wanted to, we'd come off with a good result, and we have.
You certainly have. You got on the end of a few, obviously, and importantly the second and the third quarter. The third quarter was really where you set it up because you'd had a couple of missed opportunities as a forward line. You had to make the most of it then. Yeah,
we were definitely a bit rusty in the first quarter and a half, I thought. But we stood up when we were challenged. In the third quarter, we really got our awards. So I thought the boys stuck in there really well and, very pleasing game.
Upstairs we can go. Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke.
Riley, Mark Murphy, you hit the nail on the head there. Congratulations. That third term was something special. Seemed like you and Tex Walker ahead of the football really started to get your impact on the game. Young Bordin Cook, he was exciting on that wing as well, but I noticed he went inside the centre square bounce, mate, and got 1-from-1 in there. Some clearance work out of the middle. Was there something you're looking forward to going forward, mate?
Yeah, absolutely love that. I thought I was going to go through the clearance, and I was pretty pumped. But it was a great team effort from all the boys. I thought Fogg competed really hard, Tex obviously really well, and the Smalls competed when they needed to. And Bordin Cook, he's got one of the best kicks I've seen, and for him to finally start putting it together, he's got his work rate up and he's fit as he's ever been. So I'm really pumped to see what he can do this year.
And another one of your half-off flankers, a bit more experienced than Neil Bullen. I thought he was fantastic. Obviously came across last year, but just the composure inside 50, you'd love to lead to his leg.
Oh, Mr. Fundamentals. He just does every little thing right. He stands up in the big moments and he's such a good leader for us, and we really look to it. We really look to him a lot. So it's great having him.
Well done, Riley. Nathan Burke here, mate. Last year you ended up on top of the ladder, ended the home and away. Fantastic season. Where are you going to be better this year than what you were home and away last year?
Yeah, I think the growth internally. We've got another, a lot of our boys are from 50 to 100 games now, so we're getting that experience. We obviously tasted finals and the step up, and we obviously went up to it last year, but that's what we've gone to work over the pre-season and really put a focus on, doing the fundamentals under pressure. So I think that's what you'll see from us more.
Yep, and is that pressure come from, obviously, the finals didn't work out the way that you wanted them to? Is that what you're talking about, that sort of pressure being able to perform?
A little bit, obviously, a long way to a final, so we're not really talking about that yet, but that's the biggest crowd I've played in front of at the G against Collingwood. It doesn't get much more pressure than that, and I thought the boys stood up really well. And some of the debutants and younger boys really stood up. I thought Toby Murray was great, big stretchy in the ruck, and it's great having Cow. He brings something different and dynamic to our group.
Yep, well done, mate. Great start.
Thank you very much. Thanks, boys.
Just before you go, Riley, your improvement this season, 60 goals last season. You spoke about training a bit more with the midfield. How's your body feeling and what's the goals for you?
Feeling good. Hopefully get around the ball a bit. I really enjoy that. But it's pretty tough to get Dawson, Rash and Ranks out of there sometimes. So I'm not quite sure how much I'll get. But it's just keep growing all rounds. And, it's all about the team this year. I just want to do whatever I need to for the team, whatever position, and just, keep fighting.
And having not beaten Collingwood here at the MCG, was that something you were particularly keen to try and push to one side to start the season on a high?
Yeah, definitely. It was an awesome feeling. Like I said, I don't know, 70, 75,000 at the G. Doesn't get much better than that. So there were a few nerves last night, but just trying to soak it all up. What a game.
And I guess it's frustrating. Everyone keeps referring to the disappointment of finals. How did you personally deal with did that? Did you address it as a group? Did you go away in the summer and try and just push it to one side and work out how you're going to deal with it this year?
Yeah, definitely. Very disappointing. We sort of sat in it for a couple of weeks and then tried to get away and forget about it, and then came back and really worked on what we needed to over the pre-season. And the boys trained at a level that's going to help us perform throughout the year. So we've come back and put our heads down and we're trying to get to work.
And it sets up a massive Friday night against the Western Bulldogs, who, I don't know if you saw the results today, they've started pretty promisingly as well.
Yeah, they're a great side, and we'll move on pretty quickly to them, so that'll be a good game next week.
Riley, congratulations. Great to chat with you. Good luck next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Riley Thilthorpe joining us from the Adelaide Crows rooms, winners by 14 points over the Magpies.
Yeah, that will be a cracker next week. The Bulldogs. It's
what about the forward lines?
Oh, it would be
Darcy, Norton, Thilthorpe, Walker, Fogarty.
Spoiled, aren't we? So we're looking forward to that next week. Still some games to go tomorrow, obviously, Clinchy, but I think all will be looking forward to see how the Bulldogs go over to Adelaide Oval, where it is a very tough place to go and win games of football when you're the interstate side. So looking forward to next Friday night to see how the Crows back up from today.
A tough start for the Western Bulldogs. Brisbane away, Giants, traditional rivals, and now Adelaide away. They've passed 2 of the tests so far with flying colours.
After that, the Crows have Geelong and Fremantle. Collingwood head to the bye, and then they have the Giants and Brisbane. So for Adelaide, I mean, the conversation around their finals failure is always going to be the talk around the season. Murph and Berkey, in terms of how you process that as a group, how do you deflect the questions that are perennially asked about how you can improve, having done so much well last season, but ultimately leading to failure in finals?
Yeah, I think there's a few boxes that they would want to tick throughout the home and away season. You obviously need to give yourself a best chance of finishing top 4, and I think tonight would have been one of those boxes where they would have highlighted, I think, throughout the pre-season, looked towards round 1, beating Collingwood at the MCG, and it's a really important start for that football team. And I suppose the questions will probably dissipate after the next few weeks. So they win tonight, huge game next Friday night against the Bulldogs. They win that, and it's like, well, they're the real deal again. So you can only just keep on winning games of football, Berkey.
Yeah, his answer to my question sort of hinted on what they were talking about. So most teams would say, we're working on our ball movement, we're getting better, and our defensive structures across the ground, all that sort of stuff. His answer was, we're working on being better under pressure.
Yeah.
And purely and simply, that is a reference to failing in the finals and getting better at that. But a big crowd here at the MCG, round 1 against Collingwood. That's pressure.
Like.
Yeah, that's pressure, and they handled it okay. They didn't play great, but they won.
They get the tougher fixture now, and we've just mentioned the first month, which is already tough for them. Are there certain players that not get overawed by the fixture, but will be sitting there going, geez, we've got a tougher season here, and other players who maybe it wouldn't fuss them as much, they're not as concerned about who they're playing? Or is that where the pressure comes into it as well, where they've got to be better in the pressure situations because they're probably going to be put in more of those situations this season?
It's tricky. It's an individual thing. Tex Walker probably doesn't know who they're playing next week, to be totally honest. But, and then you've got the other end, the young guys who are probably not thinking about that. They're thinking about, have I done enough to get a game next week? So the gamut of Tex just rolling up because he knows his magnet's going to be thrown on the board, to the young guy going, did I do enough today? Who played well in the twos? Is the coach talking to me this week? Did he, who's he talking to on the plane? He's not talking to me. All of those things are going through players' heads.
And I think the really good players too look for those opportunities on a Saturday night here at the MCG against Collingwood, and they look to Friday night football at our home deck at Adelaide Oval and wanting to perform on the big stage. So, I think they will get lots of opportunities, being a really good team last year, that they'll get most of these games where they're in a highlighted spot where they're playing against those big teams on a big stage, which is what they're after for finals football later in the year.
And they get Isaac Rankin back next week to take on the Western Bulldogs, so a handy addition to their forward line and to their midfield. It sort of feels like their strength at the moment has been their defence. Wayne Miller finishes with 34 disposals. He had 8 score involvements. He can link up across half-back and the wing. Josh Worrell's had another incredible follow-up game from his season last season, from his year last year with 27 disposals. Laird's back across half-back, and Jordan Butts does his role, but it sort of feels like they're relatively settled as a defensive lineup.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, Miller he's a star, isn't he? I thought he was terrific tonight. Worrell's another one who just goes about his business, and then, as you see, some of the efficiency with their disposal. Miller has gone at 94% and Morrell's gone at 89%. And yes, I get it. They're off a half-back flank where they've probably got the extra down there. It's easy to hit targets, but when Miller is at his best, he's penetrating and going straight towards goal, and he starts up a lot of their offensive chains. But I thought it was a very even performance by the Crows tonight, and Dacos, he stood out for the Pies, kicking 2 goals and having 33 touches. Houston had another good game for the Pies tonight, but probably just a midfielder or two short, I think, the Pies. And I think Rankin, that injection of speed next week is so crucial for the Adelaide Crows because their midfield is very good. He just offers that different dynamic, doesn't he?
He does. Miller was great tonight, and I think the most impressive thing he did was after their Gatorade shower and all the empty bottles on the ground, all the players were hugging. He grabbed a bin, he went and picked them all up and threw them in the bin.
I rate that highly, 3 votes.
I rate that extra. And it just goes to show that the character of the guy, that he's going to do the little things and the right things, and that translates out onto the field. Yep. Absolutely it does. So well done.
And Riley Philthorpe was the one handing out the drinks. So I don't know.
Play a role sometime, Lauren. Throw the Gatorade around, or Powerade, whatever it is, and someone has to mop it up. And Miller is the man doing all the hard work by the looks of things.
That's why he's a defender and not a forward.
Cleaning up across half back and cleaning up in the change rooms. Adelaide 14-point winners over Collingwood, 13-15-93 to the Pies, 11-13-79. Matt Clinch and Lauren Bordin, Mark Murphy and Nathan Burr. Ian Cohen has made his way across to the Magpies rooms. So probably heading into the game, we wondered whether Adelaide's sort of deficiency might be that centre bounce area when you look at their young rucks with Lockie McAndrew alongside the youngster in Toby Murray. In the end, they were able to get on top on the clearance. Well, it was 29 clearances apiece, but when you look at the influence of Darcy Cameron, he was able to have 9 clearances himself, but the Crows were able to level that with 5 from Peatling and 5 from McAndrew himself. Let's bring you some reaction from the Collingwood rooms. That's where Koza is.
Yeah, thanks very much, Clinchy. Lockie Schultz has been kind enough to join us. And Lockie, it's obviously a despondent room. The Collingwood room is always busy. We know that. But what's your feeling out of tonight?
Yeah, obviously disappointing result. It obviously didn't go our way, but I don't know, one of those games where sort of the momentum shifted a lot and we had our chances. We probably would have liked to capitalise a little bit better, and they capitalised on the other side. They finished off their work and were able to hit the scoreboard and when it counted. So a lot to work with, a lot to learn from, but something that we'll look forward to and work with.
I know you never make excuses, but it's really hard. Darcy Moore, Jeremy Howe not being there, and their big bodies down there, and they made the most of that.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a really good forward line, really tall forward line, and credit to our back six. They really fought their asses off and were able to stand up under a lot of pressure and really bring that fight and that scrap heat to give ourselves every chance. Obviously, missing a couple of guys, but we back in every guy that we put on the field and unable to get the job done tonight. But going forward, we'll learn a lot from that.
Upstairs, we've got a couple of champions in Mark Murphy and Nathan Burke. Boys?
Lockie, Murphy, I thought you were terrific today, mate. Congratulations on your game. You spoke about momentum and making the most of it. It's certainly the case in that second quarter. How do you not get frustrated when you've got all the play and you're dominating inside 50s and just missing shots on goal that you probably should take and make?
I think, g'day Murph. I think you just got to back the process. Obviously, you can sort of look at it glass half empty, and that's missing those shots that you'd really like back and you'd really like to capitalise on. But the glass half full approach is that we're getting those inside 50s and we're getting those looks. And I think going into half time, we just got to keep sort of bringing that sort of spirit that we're on top here. It's going to turn. We're going to hit the scoreboard, and it's going to happen. And then try and get the momentum flowing from there. And you know what it's like. One goal can lead to 2 and 2 to 3 and so forth. And obviously disappointing that we didn't end up getting that to happen until late in the last or in the start of the last. But as you said, we had our opportunities, something that we can sort of lean into going forward, but a lot to work on as well.
Nathan Burke here, Lockie. Well done on your game tonight, mate. there's patches of play where you guys sort of do maintain position. They have a lot of uncontested marks. We saw that last week. There was periods of the game today where you're able to have those uncontested marks. As a relatively short forward line, do you think that helps you guys, or would you rather the ball, take a few more risks and get the ball down there quicker to you guys?
I think the beauty of the way we play is we've got so many different modes we can go into, and it depends on stages of the game of what sort of mode we want to go into, and that's last week. It was, we knew that St Kilda were going to flood numbers back, so it was let's get energy on the ball around it, use our hands and get some speed on it and try and catch them off guard a little bit. But tonight we know that they're going to flood. They're going to be a really skinny team. They like to roll around numbers really skinny, and our opportunities were sort of build the ball up and then look offline and kick to the fat side and try and access the fat side and catch them off guard that way. At times it looked really good. In that last quarter, I thought we got plenty of looks going forward in that sense. But at times we probably fell away from that and probably used contest a little bit too much, and that probably played into their key backs' hands. They've got a really good back line. Their back six aerially are really, really good, and they've been for a few years now. So probably, something that we probably look at and try and sort of fix going forward. But also I thought the way that we sort of shifted modes tonight, we can sort of hold our head high in that sense.
Summarised very well.
Absolutely, great answer, mate. Great answer.
What's the next couple of weeks look like? Lockie, you've obviously got the week off this week. Do you get away now for 3 or 4 days, or you're getting ready for the Giants in a couple of weeks, and obviously a big game against them at Marvel Stadium, which is almost an interstate game for you blokes, having to go down to Marvel?
Yeah, look, we'll have next weekend off, take a couple of days to sort of just reset and go again. It's been a sort of big month with the 2 practice games leading straight into round 0 without a week off in between there. So, but it's also an opportunity for us to get better and keep growing, and this week we'll sort of recap our first 2 games to start the year, figure out what worked and what didn't, and sort of build something to take into the Giants in round, I think it's round 3. So I think this week we'll probably look more at ourselves and keep focusing on us, and then next week that's when we'll go into Giants, figuring out how we're going to attack them and how we're going to beat them.
Lockie Schultz is with us from the Collingwood Rooms, going down to Adelaide by 14 points. We won't hold you too long, Lockie, but I'm just curious how you see your sort of forward line functioning at the moment. 11 goals last week, 11 goals tonight. 2 goals from Tim Membry and Dan McStay in the 2 weeks. No, Brody Mychek, who's joined Melbourne, and Bobby Hill, unfortunately, isn't there at the moment. Do you feel like the connection isn't just quite there at the moment you're trying to build on?
I think so. I think it's always a work in progress when you've got new guys come in, especially in such crucial roles like Big Jack Buller. And I thought what he's brought so far is he's been an elite contest and something that we can really lean into. And going forward, I think we're only going to get better, and time will show. But I've got no issues with where we're at and how we've played. I think last week we sort of build our game off defence, and we've got a lot of pride in our defence and how we're able to sort of keep teams to low scores. Obviously tonight probably didn't show that, but last week definitely did. And if they kick 50, we'll kick 51. That's sort of our motto. So I guess everyone loves goals, but as long as we're winning, that's the main thing.
And in that third quarter, Nick Dacos was moved onto the wing. Was that to try and give you some more run on the outside?
I think so. I didn't even know he went to the wing, to be honest. I think Nick he's so explosive and just gives us so much run, and we know how good he is inside, but he's elite outside, and obviously when he gets a little bit of time and space, he's able to make anything happen. So putting him out on the wing is just a sort of extra bow, extra string he's got on his bow. So I think what he provided in that last quarter and all game was pivotal to us giving ourselves every chance. But obviously, we fell down at the last hurdle.
And finally, the fixture's a bit of a fascination at the moment. Are you happy to have a bye next week, or will you be equally as happy to keep playing?
Yeah, look, I personally, I'd be happily to just keep playing. I just love to keep the momentum rolling, and I love footy. I just want to get out there and play. So personally, yeah, that's where I'll stand.
Yep. Lockie, appreciate your time. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
And
Lockie Schultz.
Clinchy, while I've just got you, clean bill of health from the Magpies, but I would suggest Worrell might be monitored after an accidental shoulder, I think, from Scott Pendlebury in that marking contest in the Crows rooms.
Beautifully done. Thank you, Coz. Adelaide winners by 14 points. That was Lockie Schultz in the Magpies rooms. Adelaide 13-15, 93 to Collingwood 11-13, 79, while Sydney defeated Brisbane by 44 points at the SCG, 15-14, 104 to the Lions, 8-12, 60. And the injuries to come from that match, while Sydney got the win, Errol Goulden has suffered a shoulder injury, Isaac Heaney with hamstring tightness, and Logan McDonald with an ankle injury. So they have a 5-day break into their game against Hawthorn on Thursday night. So get the 4 points. They're 2-0, but not quite the news they would have liked on the injury front.